What's going on? 10 o'clock. Good morning. Live from the Circa Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Down Studios. I am Robert Walsh. NFL news yesterday, VFL and former 49ers free agent wide receiver Juwan Jennings and the Minnesota Vikings reached an agreement on a one-year, $8 million deal that could be worth up to $13 million in incentives. In 5 seasons, Jennings caught 210 passes for over 2,500 yards and 22 touchdowns. NBA playoffs last night. The Pistons take Game 2 and a 2-0 series lead as they beat the Cavaliers 107-97. And the reigning NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder handle the Lakers 125-107 and also take a 2-0 series lead. Tomorrow night, Eastern Conference leading Nashville Soccer Club is back in MLS play as they hit the pitch against DC United at Geodis Park. 8:25 is the kickoff. You can tune in to 104.5 The Zone with Will Bowling on the call. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. Happy Friday. You made it. Congratulations to all involved. We're happy to have you for the next 3 hours. Josh Pate is going to be in studio. We're looking forward to that. And we have a little bit of Titans subject matter to get to throughout the course of today's show. We have to start with some Vols stuff, though, and we'll get to what Paul Feinbaum had to say about Tennessee and Josh Heupel and the direction he feels that the program is heading here in just a little while. 615-737-1045 is the number. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is how you get involved, where people in the chat greet Robert by saying, Robert, you are loved.
I love you guys, too.
It's like that Blake Griffin commercial where they're talking about
I don't have cable, so I don't watch commercials.
What's on Prime?
I don't watch commercials. I usually get up to do my business during that.
What business do you have to do? I mean, literal, you're going to the bathroom, or?
No, I've been doing these ancient Chinese stretches during commercial breaks where you kind of have to like back up. It's just to help your liquidity in your body, keep everything flowing, keep everything looking. Can't you tell I'm looking really svelte today in a hoodie?
A black hoodie.
Yeah, I look good, man. I look good in layers. I hate summer's coming up.
Also, we have to address, apparently, the elephant in the room. What do you mean? You started this off, got in my ear as soon as I walked in here, and said, you look like you're in a good mood. I'm in a good mood.
I wasn't saying anything to the contrary. That
you look like you've got good energy.
No,
I've got good energy.
No,
what?
Now you're assigning tone to me that's not correct.
Okay,
I didn't email or text you. You heard the way I said it.
Fine. Say it to the audience the way that you said it to me as I walked in here getting ready to do a 3-hour show. How did you greet me?
Okay.
You look like you have good energy today.
No, I said you look like you've got good energy today.
That's not how you said it. You said it sardonically.
Well, what is that word? What is that beautiful melody? Sarconically?
You said it sarcastically. You said it tongue-in-cheek.
Is sarconically a real word?
Sardonic. You said you greeted me alleging something about my temperament today that I do not appreciate because I'm in a good mood.
Good. I'm glad.
And I've got good energy.
Heck yeah. I wasn't saying anything to the contrary,
All
buddy.
right.
I just wanted us to it's Friday.
You start a fight as soon as I walk in here.
No, honey. All right, let's kiss and make up. Kiss me through the microphone. Give me a little. We're good to go. It's good energy. Oh, God. Ow. Sardonically, an adverb describing action done with scornful mockery, bitter irony, or cynical decision.
Nailed it.
I did not know sardonically. That sounds like a
Brachiosaurus one time.
like a Star Wars religion that I was unaware of.
Zach Bingham used to tell me when I use words like that, don't ever use words like that again. Nobody talks like that.
I bet you were like a little 7-year-old, like, Mother, don't talk to me so sardonically.
I think it was. I think the word that I used that set him off was lexicon.
Oh, that's not that big. That's just like your verbiage, right? How many words you know? What are the words you commonly use, right?
Somebody said sedonically. No.
Guys, God, we act like y'all got some sense. It's a Friday. We got a lot of good stuff.
I mean, there's an update, right? You told me there was an update.
An update. Isn't every time they met an update?
I don't know, man.
They never look like they had a down day.
At this point we do. It's like your breaking sports news updates. We give the latest TMZ report and then we move on with our day.
Yes, TMZ reporting that Diana did not, in fact, name her son after Mike Vrabel.
Oh, thank God.
It was after her brother. More at 11. What I found...
Please no more.
What I found upsetting about it...
So tired of
If you really want to be upset about something, he was like, yeah, the other kid is named after another person on Diana's family, her grandfather or something like that. So she got to name both of these kids with a dude she don't love. She didn't even let him name one of them. Come on now.
Well, and then...
I'm tired of talking about it.
You saw the Barstool Sports?
Yes. Close your eyes, kids. Yes, I saw it. It's going to keep coming out. And it sucks because, like...
It'll never end.
In those moments, like, those are really fun moments. Yep. Like, I don't know. I don't have an opinion anymore. It's just sad.
Paul Feinbaum's got an opinion. He's got an opinion on the University of Tennessee. He was making a appearance on the show Crane and Cone here recently, which I believe is based out of Nashville, as a matter of fact, for the... What's Ben Shapiro's company called? Do you know that off the top of your head? Daily
Shapiro.
something? Daily Shapiro.
Is it not?
Daily Wire.
That sounds right.
That sounds right. Okay, so I think it's I'm pretty sure it's a show for the Daily Wire. I know Jake Crane. He's a good guy. He's been on the show before. Smart college football guest. But they host a show, and Paul Feinbaum was a guest, and they were talking about the University of Tennessee, obviously, Feinbaum's alma mater, and he had some interesting thoughts.
And I bring Josh Heupel up. I like him. He has made the playoffs one time, but he's been there, 4 or 5 years? And it feels like the program is going in the wrong direction. That should not happen. And it's a very bad sign for a name brand program. And maybe I'm old school enough to still believe that Tennessee is one of those schools that should always be at or near the top. But the end of last season was a complete disaster, losing at home to Oklahoma. And they also lost at home to Vanderbilt, badly lost a bowl game. It was you can't let that happen. And then they got some bad luck in court losing Aguilar, but they don't have a quarterback. And you guys all tell me how you can win in the SEC without a quarterback.
All right, Paul Feinbaum thinks that the Vols football program under Josh Heupel is heading in the wrong direction. Do you agree or disagree with Paul Feinbaum? 615-737-1045 is the number. They definitely don't feel, they're not definitively ascending by any stretch of the imagination, right? There's nothing quantifiable that you can point to that says Josh Heupel and Tennessee are going to have a better season in 2026 than they did in 2025 because they changed defensive coordinators. They lost a court case, or Joey Aguilar lost an eligibility court case that saw him now headed to the NFL. He was going to be probably the best quarterback option that they have at their disposal. Do you feel that Josh Heupel as a coach is not showing the kind of promise and growth that he needs to? We had this conversation when he got hired about the idea of, okay, the guy from, was it UCF? Is that right? The guy from UCF, pretty solid bridge coach. Nobody was talking when Josh Heupel got hired about Josh Heupel being the long-term solution, the guy that was going to bring the Vols back to the promised land, the guy who's going to restore the feeling to 1998, like all these different things. Josh Heupel, at least the way that we got feedback from callers at the time, people were viewing him as somebody who can get them back on the right track, who can be a certain level of competitive in the SEC, but is probably not the person that's going to bring them a championship. I don't know if that position evolved over time as you saw the Hendon Hooker season with Josh Heupel, and you started to think, okay, is every year going to look like that? And it hasn't. And you go through the number of different changes, especially in the landscape that college sports is undergoing, and you say, all right, is that a product of Josh Heupel and the Nico Iamaleava fallout, for lack of a better term, or is it wrong place, wrong time? Our program, if you're a Vols fan, looking around and be like, why us? Really? Like you're gonna cause this kind of problem for us in real time? And frankly, you got bailed out by Joey Aguilar in a big spot. And they had a season that I would consider a success given the circumstances. I understand what Feinbaum is saying about the missed opportunities. You're a missed field goal away from beating Georgia in overtime. Robert, we were at that game. I mean, physically.
I was at that game for 3 quarters.
No, you woke up in overtime.
Oh, wow. I forgot it was an overtime game. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I was.
You came to.
I was there for the fourth quarter. I was there.
You were physically there. You were sleeping on Lucas's shoulder.
Taking a little nap.
Yeah?
Taking a nap right here.
It's a long, college football game's very long.
I don't necessarily agree with Paul because I think that they could be on an ascension at quarterback if either Faison or the other cat ends up.
Merklinger.
No,
not Merklinger.
They're turd slingers at UConn.
The other one. It's the other McIntyre.
There you go. If either one of them figure it out, I think that you have the guy for the next couple of years. So I think they could be on the ascension. But a guy that probably has a better opinion than both you or I, Josh Pate, who will be in studio at 11 o'clock.
He sure will. And so we'll talk to Josh Pate. He, I don't know if you listen to Pate's podcast religiously, the way that Lucas worships at the altar of Josh Pate. He's going to be very upset to know that we waited until the last day that he was not going to be here to have his idol in studio, Josh Pate.
Pate-tholicism.
Yeah.
Wait, Pateanity. Wait.
We will run these by Josh Pate at 11 a.m. when he is in studio with us. We look forward to that. I think that if you have been listening to Pate's podcast on a regular basis, I know, he's been sitting down. He does these speaker series where he goes around to a number of different college campuses. He sits down with all the powers that be, Mario Cristobal. He's just recently done interviews with Kirby Smart and Dabo. I was listening to his Dabo interview last night, and I look forward to talking to Pate about what that experience was like for him as the interviewer. Because the interviewee, Dabo, every time Dabo gets in front of a microphone, man, it's always something you can talk about. Anyway, we are going to talk about which free agent group, which position group should the Titans be targeting in the post-draft scenario that they are now in. We got a few weeks until OTAs get underway in full force, but we'll talk about the Titans on the other side. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you like they've helped so many guys over the course of the last decade plus. If your energy's off, if things aren't working like they used to, you're not alone. It happens to a lot of dudes. The Tennessee Men's Clinic, powered by Men's Pro, is here to help you. And what you'll like about them is that they've been doing this for years. They're not just the newest fly-by-night place or sketchy online pill. You're working with true medical providers. They'll run labs. They'll build a plan around you as an individual, not some one-size-fits-all treatment. They treat low performance, ED, weight loss, and even peptides like NAD+. Their treatments have worked for thousands of men. Most guys say they wish they would have come in sooner instead of procrastinating. Right now, your lab panel and consultation are just $99. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. So we are through the draft, obviously. We are now 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks removed from the first night of the NFL draft. Crazy. We spent that much time talking about it, that it was upon us, and now we are full steam ahead into football season, for lack of a better term, with OTAs and mandatory minicamp on deck. We gave you the Titans dates for that here earlier in the week, and we started to see post-draft free agency signings, which should be expected. Juwan Jennings got a one-year deal from the Minnesota Vikings. One-year deal is interesting, given Juwan's age, but it's $8 million, which is way lower than I thought he was going to come in at, up to 13 in incentives, according to multiple people reporting on the situation. He's 29, so he's right there on the border of, are you still technically in your prime as a player versus 30-plus at that specific position? You tend to go downhill fast. The depth chart there is pretty good, right? You've got Justin Jefferson. Where are you on Jordan Addison as a player? I think he's just okay. I think he's a completely okay wide receiver. I think when you have Justin Jefferson alongside you, you may benefit, you do benefit greatly from the attention that Justin Jefferson gets. There's nothing special to me about Jordan Addison.
I'm a big fan, if I'm being honest. I don't like the off-the-field stuff, the reckless driving and distractions like that. But he has been, and as you noted, anybody that's on a team with Justin Jefferson is not going to have as many defenses just clamoring to shut you down. And Justin Jefferson has been very available. I mean, played every game in the last 2 seasons for them. But when he has played, he has been consistent. Last year was actually the worst year of his career. First 2 seasons, 19 touchdowns for Jordan Addison. So he takes advantage of it. I mean, I think that he is an above-average wide receiver, too, and he'll probably be paid like that. But can you name another wide receiver on that team? Jalen Naylor? Gone. Now, if they would not have added Juwan Jennings, it would have been a Miles Price, who was a UDFA last year.
Wouldn't have gotten Miles Price.
It would have been a Jashawn Jones, who was a UDFA in 24. They have a third-round pick from last year in Ty Felton out of Maryland.
Okay.
But not really a bunch of dudes who you would be going, oh, yeah, I really like our room. They kind of needed to add a guy like Juwan. They didn't have that skill set on their roster.
Somebody on YouTube, where you can interact with the show, you can also call us 615-737-1045. The question for the callers and for the commenters is this. Post-draft free agency for the Titans. What are the position groups they absolutely have to target as they address a number of things still on the roster? You have your draft class now in tow. You've got your UDFAs who you were able to grab. You still have a number of different positions that could use some fortification. 615-737-1045. What is the position group and why? Need a little bit of an explanation from you if you're going to call in and tell us which is the position group that they need to target the most. For Minnesota, their quarterback situation, so it's Juwan Jennings, it's Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and Kyler Murray. Right? We're assuming, I mean, they can talk about having a quarterback competition if they want to, but they're not signing Kyler just because, right? If Kyler Murray plays at a reasonably high level, J.J. McCarthy then becomes expendable. You could theoretically extend Kyler if you wanted to and try and shop J.J. McCarthy for parts. But right now, I would expect Kyler Murray to be the starting quarterback next year and J.J. McCarthy to be the backup. They still have that Brosmer dude?
They do. Yeah, he's behind Carson Wentz, who they signed in the offseason. I would say, and I don't think this would be a popular opinion. I think this is possibly the best thing that could happen to JJ. While it's hard to lose something that you thought was yours, it's like the birthright of a first-round quarterback. I should be the quarterback. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that a guy who didn't have a ton of starts in college gets to sit behind someone else and watch how someone else prepares. Kind of like the extension of the Bryce Young, Andy Dalton experiment that lasted 3 to 4 weeks in Carolina a couple years ago.
Well, let's talk through that, actually, before we get into this free agent conversation. J.J. McCarthy, they didn't start him immediately, right, because he had the injury his rookie year. So he's already a little late in his opportunity because of the injury that robbed him of his rookie season. So he comes in here and he plays poorly, right? I mean, he has a moment against the Bears.
Lions.
I
think it was the Lions they ended up beating. That was where the whole 9 thing started. And then they played the Ravens' terrible defense the week after.
Yeah. So J.J. McCarthy is going to go the trajectory, it seems, actually a more intense trajectory than somebody like Bryce Young, because Bryce Young was given the opportunity to come back in as the starter, was then benched for Andy Dalton, brought back in as a starter. Didn't Dalton have some kind of he had a car accident where he injured a finger or something like that? He had some kind of injury to his hand. I want to say he was involved in some kind of incident physically, not anything of wrongdoing or anything like that. I think he just, may have gotten an fender bender, jammed his a couple of fingers on his throwing hand or something like that. Either way, Bryce Young gets benched. It seems to be beneficial for Bryce Young. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to happen, and no scenario here is a complete parallel or a complete one-to-one comparison in the NFL. I am fascinated to see what happens with Cam in year 2 for that specific reason, because if you were going to, let's flesh this out. Let's say we sim through the 2026 season, okay? And talk about, by probability, what's most likely to be the conversation point around the Tennessee Titans and specifically Cam Ward. We know that they had a lot of moving parts, but they should be better. We know that the place that they definitively have not gotten better is the offensive line, and we know that Cam was, both by his offensive line's fault and by his own fault, the most sacked quarterback in football last year. So if we're talking about still trying to figure it out around Cam Ward after the end of the season, what could happen that would make that be a conversation? It's probably the fact that they didn't address the offensive line sufficiently, and he's running for dear life back there, and you hope that he stays as healthy as humanly possible, but you're still kind of in this situation where, I don't know. And I'm sure there are Titans fans out there who are like, no, I know that Cam Ward's the guy now. I know, we knew about Mariota, right? We've seen this several times over, that you have to let these things play out. Obviously, everybody is rooting for Cam to be as healthy and successful professionally as humanly possible. But it's one of these, okay, how does every other NFL team, every other first round or number 1 overall pick at quarterback, to me, is a study in how do you not become another statistic if you're Cam Ward? How do you not become one of these players that doesn't start a playoff game for the team that drafted you in the first round? J.J. McCarthy feels like a weird case, but something that should be studied as far as, all right, this was a place that's supposed to excel in quarterback development. Kevin O'Connell, that's his whole thing. Now they're saying, all right, maybe we got it wrong on the player.
And maybe that leads you in to the Cam discussion, at least, to maybe say that the free agent group they should target first would be the offensive line. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are out there clamoring, we don't want Austin Schlottman, we don't want Cordero Volson, we don't want any of these goobers off the street to start, we want a bona fide stud. But that would bring me to the question, okay, who are you going to bring in for center? Ethan Posich? What are you going to do that's better than someone that has experience in Dable's system now?
Knows the offensive line coach, can help Cam with the protections and things like that. Again, he doesn't have to be your next Ben Jones, right? Who's going to be here for years and years to come and is just a bad MFer out there at every turn. And I don't, Schlottman may be fine, right? I'm not sure what kind of a person, what kind of what his level of toughness is, all these different things, his level of availability, and an extended sample size. What's that going to look like for Austin Schlottman? I have no idea. All I know is they went with the approach of veteran center that's not going to cost us $27 million a year, that knows the system, that can help Cam Ward shorten the learning curve, even if Cam has to, take some steps on his own here. It's not like the offensive line is just going to be able to do it all for him. And I don't know. We were talking about C.J. Stroud the other day, Cosell and me. And Greg said on the podcast, the most recent episode of the podcast we did, by the way, you'll hear the live show with Mike Borgonzi this weekend. We'll have that available to you in the podcast feed and on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel if you want to subscribe there. But we were talking about C.J. Stroud and what the Texans have done. And my whole point was, I don't know that there's a person in football who's built a better roster right now today than Nick Caserio. I think the Texans roster, provided C.J. Stroud doesn't major malfunction again, I don't know that there's a more well-constructed roster going right now than the Texans. And we looked at the Keelan Rutledge draft pick, where it was also reported. Do you remember who had that report?
Aaron Wilson.
Aaron Wilson, who is in Houston. Aaron Wilson reported that the Texans traded with Buffalo to get ahead of the Titans because the Texans had heard that the Titans were interested in Keelan Rutledge, the guard out of Georgia Tech. So Houston takes the guard out of Georgia Tech. They address a critical offensive line need. Tennessee ends up trading back into the first round anyway, but they go with Keldrick Falk, the defensive lineman out of Auburn, understanding that Tennessee did have offensive line needs. So now you have a situation where C.J. Stroud is going to get a retooled, rebuilt, whatever you want to call it, offensive line. And Greg's whole point around Stroud was you could argue more than any quarterback in the league, that quarterback has to be as comfortable as humanly possible in the pocket to be able to operate. That's his kryptonite. And you could say that of any quarterback, right? But there are guys who are comfortable or can be comfortable operating under duress. I think Cam is one of them. I think Mahomes is another. I think Burrow is one. Lamar is, it's instinctual the way that they react. And I'm not saying that C.J. Stroud is an absolute statue back there, and the minute you get pressure on him, you've got him beat. But the thing that we could clearly identify about C.J. Stroud that's giving him more hell than anything else is the fact that their offensive line situation is pretty imperfect, and he's not been capable of making up for that. So they have to figure out how to fortify it in front of him. Do you take a different approach with a guy like Cam? Could that have been in their consideration this offseason, where you're like, all right, we have the quarterback that by percentage, we cited that statistic the other day, Cam Ward evaded as many sacks per dropbacks as any quarterback in the NFL last year. Now, he was still the most sacked quarterback in football, but Cam has a little bit of that Burrow to him, a little bit of that Mahomes to him, where evasiveness is going to be a part of how he plays. Movement is going to be a part of how he plays. Some of it is going to be unnecessary. Some of it creates his own pressure. I think that their idea is to go into this with guys who can compete at right guard, with a starting veteran center option, and they have said loudly at every turn, if our options are not sufficient, we reserve the right to bring in new players along the offensive line. And Robert, if you look at the group that's out there in free agency, I'm not saying that it's ideal, but you do have options, right? I don't know that Mekhi Becton is going to be better at guard in a Carmen Brasillo offensive system than Cordell Volson, okay? Mekhi Becton has played 1 year, really 1 year of quality football. It was in Philadelphia on one of the best offensive line units you've ever seen. He went to Los Angeles, the Chargers last year. He was a huge part of their problem. He was also unavailable. As far as other guards go, we've talked about the idea of can you try and woo, I'm blanking on my guy's name from the Lions last year, Kevin Zeitler. Can you try and woo Kevin Zeitler back to play right guard for you at 36? Going to be, I don't think he will be 37 in the season, but this will be his 15th year of NFL football playing along the offensive line. He made $9 million on a one-year deal last year. That's a decent chunk of change, but it's a huge need. I think they're going to try and find ways to go younger and cheaper if they can, even though they do have some capital here to work with, some salary cap space to work with. And then if they get to a point where they're like, yeah, these guys can't play, okay, let's go find a veteran that is more plug and play. And I think at that point, if Zeitler's still out there or another one of these guys, type of guys are still out there, it doesn't have to be a 36-year-old guard that's played for you before. You do have options that you can consider. None of them are good options necessarily, but how many NFL teams out of 32 definitively can say, we feel good about our offensive line situation?
All 5 spots.
all 5 spots. We feel good about our offensive line situation. Like, not even great. Not even like we know we have the best offensive line in football. Because then you're still talking about depth. You're probably going to end up playing 8 players at some point, even though you've only got 5 starting. So how many teams, I don't know, I might say 10, maybe. Less than a third of the NFL genuinely feels good about their offensive line situation heading into a season, pre-injury. So can you feel good enough while you continue to fortify that part of it? And, you know, if you're the Titans, pray to God that J.C. Latham makes up your mind for you on this is a player that can anchor that right side for a long time. Because after this year, J.C. Latham is already extension eligible. He's in the same situation that Skoronski's in right now.
And I would lean on someone who has a little more knowledge than I do, like a Ramon Foster, on the timing of these signings. But I feel like a lot of people are clamoring, like, let's just bring Zeitler back now. Let's bring Zeitler back now. But I feel like that's a two-pronged reason of why they would not bring him back right now. One, Zeitler probably doesn't want to sit through the gauntlet of practices in the offseason. He doesn't necessarily need it. Like you said, he's played in the NFL for 15 seasons. He just turned 36 on March 8th. He doesn't really have to go through those practices. A guy like Volson, Schlotman, your rookies, they do need those practices. So you would be bringing in someone to take first-team reps, and it would hurt their developmental runway of picking it up, where you probably wouldn't bring Zeitler in until late June, late July, August, somewhere in there, if you didn't like what you saw on the field, if you didn't feel comfortable with what these guys could provide for you.
That Greg Van Roten dude that played offensive line, played guard for the Giants last year, still out there. He's about the same age as Zeitler, though. He's a couple of months. No, in fact, they might be the exact same age, although Van Roten has played 3 less seasons than Zeitler has at 36 years old.
Probably an older prospect. I believe Zeitler was a first-round pick, so he probably came into the league pretty young, where Greg was probably a later pick and didn't come into the league as young as he did.
Somebody on YouTube says, Cordell Volson could take a big leap under Priscilla. Listen to me, okay? I am not banking on your offensive line coach, again, working magic with players who have otherwise been barely anything in their career. Cordell Volson has a lot of NFL starts to his name. Cordell Volson is not a good player. So could this be the year where something magically emerges and all of a sudden you've turned Cordell Volson into, I don't know, who's a middling guard middling offensive lineman who ended up having a stronger finish down the stretch of his career. I don't know what kind of example I would be able to pull off the top of my head like that.
Maybe like a John Simpson.
John Simpson, formerly of the Ravens and the Jets.
Raiders is where he started.
He was Raiders and then Jets?
Raiders, Ravens, Jets, back to the Ravens
Jets.
this year.
Okay.
And he's an average player. He wasn't that when he came into the league. One of the biggest knocks on him is penalties. He just consistently has a large number of penalties every year. But that's what you get with average players. You have to be okay with the warts when you take average players like that.
So, like I'm saying, hoping I get what it's like picking a player in the draft. You want the coaching staff that you've hired to come in and realize the best case scenario for the coaching staff and the players that you brought in. That was the case for Bill Callahan. Bill Callahan was an abject failure here. So I'm not going to assume, I'm not going to hope, I'm not going to wish or pray or anything like that, oh, yeah, Cordell Volson will turn into a starting caliber offensive lineman simply because of who he's working for this year. I don't think that's necessarily a strategy, though if it happens, you can come back here and say, I told you so after the fact. For me, beyond the offensive line, it's probably corner. Right, your corner depth at the back end of the roster is completely wide open. Your safety depth at the back end of the roster, completely wide open. So you're talking about defensive backs. I mean, and these, you could say, of any NFL team, regardless of their positional needs, that those would be the 2 areas in post-draft free agency or in waiver claims, for example, that you want to target first. Like, you'd prioritize those areas of your roster first anyway in any phase of personnel acquisition because of how One, corner is a premium position. Offensive line is a need everywhere. 32 teams cannot field starting caliber offensive line. If you can find one guy who can just be a fraction more reliable or a fraction more versatile at the start of post-draft free agency, then by the time you get around to like developmental guys and waiver claims and things like that, great. But I think you could say that of any NFL team, not just specifically the Titans. But this team in particular, offensive line and corner, or offensive line and defensive back, however you want to stack them. I'd take a safety, I'd take a corner, I'd take a guard.
If you look at free agency and who is still left out there, there is just a large amount of starting or backup caliber edges still available as well, where they have a little bit of depth there. Free agency and the draft helped them out there. But if you wanted to add any of those dudes, I also wouldn't be upset about that.
615-737-1045 is the number. What's the segment you got in here next? Best autographed merch?
Have you seen the giveaways the Titans have been doing on Twitter?
No. Rob will tell me about it next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. All right, Robert is a memorabilia card collecting person who regularly peruses eBay and different sites like that, Facebook Marketplace, looking for items, well, not just things that you can buy, and trying to get me to buy him, a sauna or a hot tub or something like that he's found on Facebook Marketplace. But you genuinely are somebody who collects memorabilia and things like that.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I love when the Ravens tore their turf up and they were selling their turf. Like I tried to get in the wish list to buy that. Or
Did they do something like that with the old Nissan Stadium field?
I'm not sure.
Since it was the Tennessee-Alabama game or something like that? I'm sure Danny White did something like that. Or like a piece, they were auctioning off pieces of the goalpost.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the Titans, I don't know this to be true, but I somewhere in my mind, I'm having this memory of they're giving people the option of getting their seats if you're a season ticket member from the old Nissan Stadium. I don't know if that's true, though. That
would be a good idea.
It would be cool. I'm sure people would like that. It's like, hey, you're going to throw them in the dumpster anyway. Here's the seats.
What else are you going to do?
But sat in every game. I think that'd be pretty cool for them to do. But
somebody on YouTube says, are we about to see Buck rip a pack live? I assume he's not talking about cigarettes.
No, he's talking about card packs.
Oh,
like
no.
if I bought like a hobby box, that would be sick though. I've talked about doing those live streams of opening packs, but it's gambling.
Milan's doing them.
So the Titans.
Oh, what do you want to start a fight?
No.
We can start a fight.
No, I don't.
Why? It's not like Taylor's going to get you. It's not like anything that you say negatively about Lawan is going to get back to Lawan as if you said it. It's going to be like, oh, did you hear what Buck said on his show? And then I'm going to have to deal with it.
No, it's nothing like that. I just don't want to get bogged down because the Titans are doing something really cool.
Okay.
Something that if you're a fan of memorabilia like I am, I think this would be something that you would be very sought after. After the rookies were drafted, they put an initial video out that was kind of just like a funny thing, like, haha, look what we're doing, the rookies, where they gave them random objects to sign, a ruler, a mannequin body, a Whataburger table holder, like a bunch of different things that they had signed. They're like, what the hell are you having me sign this for? Well, now what they're doing is doing retweet giveaways. Like, hey, retweet this and you get a chance to get the Cornell Tate autographed ruler. I think that is so stinking cool. No one else in the world will have something like that.
What else did they sign? Like, what other random objects are they? Like a ruler?
A ruler?
I guess that's like playing into the whole principle of it's one of one, right? You won't find it anywhere else.
Right.
It's the only Cornell Tate signed ruler in the world.
But the ones that I described are the ones I remember from the video. The mannequin body, the ruler, the Whataburger table holder. Those are the things. And I believe they autographed like a ceramic Christmas house on the roof.
Like one of these Christmas villages?
Yes. I think that is so stinking cool. So it made me start thinking, what would be the coolest pieces of autographed memorabilia that could exist? Like, and instantly my mind goes to like Laramie Tunsil autographing a gas mask.
Oh, the bong.
Yes. So what are the, and if anyone out there in the audience has an idea, 615-737-1045. I want to hear from you guys because my mind is not working as efficiently as it usually is on these type of topics.
Probably the bong.
But there have to be perfect memorabilia items that exist, right? That would be one of one and super creative. Like Adrian Peterson autographing the switch that he whooped his kid with.
God.
You know what I mean? Like things like that would be so cool.
So this is a fun game to play. What other Isaiah Wilson autographing the margarita glass after a night out on Charlotte Pike?
Yes,
or is that
exactly.
Too much?
Or like a tire. Panda autographing a tire, silver
wheel.
Sharpie that he did donuts with after.
Derrick Henry's autographed braid that he chopped off.
Boom. Bingo. Right
I wonder
there.
what he did with the braid. Because he doesn't have the braid in Baltimore. It's weird.
It's got to be in like my dad.
Like like one of those organ preservation jars that they've got with the
the formaldehyde
yeah.
in it. Yeah. My dad has all of my baby teeth too. Does anyone want a Burt autographed baby tooth? Like
somebody said Sneed's gun autographed. No, it wasn't Sneed's gun. It was his assistant's gun. It wasn't Sneed's gun. Important to say. Oh God. Didn't take long for the chat to take a Sedona Mike Vrabel pivot. Some heinous ones there. A Mike Vrabel signed Sedona
I knew it was
hotel
coming.
room key card.
Yeah, I knew it. Like a autographed paternity test or whatever. Yeah, they're all there.
No.
They're all there. Someone just called in and said an Elvis autographed toilet seat.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that's what he died on.
I know.
An Elvis peanut butter and banana sandwich. Or like there have to be perfect examples
what would be worse, the toilet seat that he died on or the last peanut butter banana sandwich that he made?
You guys are getting morbid. JPP's blown off fingers. You can't.
No, that's good. That's good. Tom Brady's deflated football.
A Vic autographed dog collar.
No,
Yes, this is exactly what I'm going for. A Will Levis autographed mayo. Like those things.
Just a jar or like the cologne?
I have the cologne.
I know
Famously.
you thought that this is one of those things that you bought on
Yes,
eBay,
100%, yes.
trying to beat the market to it. Be like, I have one of 7 Will Levis autographed cologne bottles.
Robert wants the Ray Lewis suit. If I got the Ray Lewis white suit, you guys would not be able to tell me anything. It would be like the Batman suit at my house in an enclosed
What
case.
would our version of this be? What would a show version of this be? So Lucas's
Signing shorts.
chair seat, or his shorts.
Yeah, his chair seat would be good.
Because it's not the shorts. It's Lucas's ass in the shorts that make it very Lucas, right? Because he cannot just buy shorts off the rack. He has to have clothing that fits him properly, which he cannot find. It's an impossibility. So it's got to be the ass indent in Lucas's chair, a signed Lucas Panchica chair seat. I don't know what it would be. I mean, for Robert, it would probably be Crocs. A pair of Crocs. But God, can you imagine Robert Walsh game used Crocs?
Oh, man.
I don't know.
I'd clean them for you.
What would mine be? I don't have anything like that. I don't think.
An autographed piece of Titans memorabilia. Something that no one else. It is a one of one.
I know it's not. I sign a lot of Titan stuff at like.
Dude, you're ruining the value when you do that, by the way.
I tell people that every time. People still ask.
No, I'm talking about signing everything. It ruins the value of. If you go back and look.
You want me to tell people no?
Oh, that would be a foreign concept to you, telling someone no. You wouldn't tell a child tighten up for his birthday earlier this week.
That crosses a professional line. Me. Somebody who should not be signing autographs in the first place of any kind, much less the fact that a human being has my signature. That Mitch Firkins, a Titans fan, has my signature autographed on his body.
Morris probably has it. A signed Sad Boy radio hat would probably be with that for you.
That would be good.
Or I'm trying to think what you do. Like, what do you do? What is something that is unequivocally you? Like, yeah, you can't autograph a complaint.
My Mountain Valley, Mountain Valley water bottle.
Maybe. A Ron Slay signed car roof. You guys get the mission.
My God.
You guys understand.
That would be ideal.
A Robert Walsh signed pack of cigs. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. We do have some callers that have submissions as well if you want to get to those.
All right. How about Diego in Nashville?
How about an aluminum bat autographed by Tanya Harding? But it's got to be the aluminum bat for the 90s kids.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes. Yes. More.
Oh, no. I don't want to take a bunch of calls on this.
They're pretty tame, I imagine.
It's okay.
That's okay.
I'm done with this.
A Buck, there it is. That's it. Gaming mailman. Buck signed bottle service. A bottle from bottle service that Buck signed. There you go.
We were at Whiskey Row. I took you to one of my old haunts, the second floor of Whiskey Row. I was confused. A friend of mine said they had a table at Whiskey Row, and I went to the floor where there is traditionally bottle service. I did not know that they were doing tables on the roof now.
Oh,
it's been a while.
Yeah, the roof.
I'm rusty.
That stinks. Rusty, shut up. Shut up.
615-737-1045 is the number. Josh Pate in studio. Maybe next. Nothing worse than a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. You don't know what it will cost, or if it will get fixed correctly, or if someone's just trying to upsell you on something that you don't fully understand. That's where Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical comes in, because the price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. There's no hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill. It's why Hiller has been in business as a family-owned and operated company for over 30 years. Their techs are trusted, vetted, and professional. And when you get assigned your tech, you'll get a link to track them in real time so you don't waste time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guaranteed of happy you'll be, or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So visit them online today at happyhiller.com.
11 o'clock, good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Down Studios. I am Robert Walsh. NFL news yesterday, former VFL and former 49er. Free agent wide receiver Juwan Jennings and the Minnesota Vikings reached an agreement on a one-year, $8 million deal that could be worth up to $13 million in incentives. In 5 seasons, Jennings caught 210 passes for 2,500 yards and 22 touchdowns. NBA playoffs last night, the Pistons take Game 2 in a 2-0 series lead as they beat the Cavaliers 107-97. And the reigning NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder handle the Lakers 125-107 to also take a 2-0 series lead. Tomorrow night, Eastern Conference leading Nashville Soccer Club is back in MLS play as they hit the pitch against DC United at Geodis Park. 8:25 is the kickoff, and you can tune into that right here on 104.5 The Zone with Will Bowling on the call. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. Now to Josh Pate on the Buck Rising Show here on 104.5 The Zone.
Second hour is underway, and we have our co-host in studio, but it's not the normal, apathetic, usually hungry, half paying attention, certainly not listening co-host that normally graces that seat. It is a wonderful bald. It's Josh Pate of Josh Pate's College Football Show, available wherever you get your podcasts and, of course, live streamed on YouTube. Hey, buddy.
How are you?
Long time.
Been a long time. Been too long. Suspiciously long.
Yes, suspiciously long indeed. Well, we've been dealing with PR crises with our other recurring guests on a regular basis. I'm not going to discover any TMZ footage of you on a boat in Putnam County, am I?
We do occasionally talk off air, whether the public believes it or not. You and I have a real-life functioning social relationship. Wouldn't go as far as to call it friendship. It's still to be determined.
Rude.
Yeah, we're friends. Okay, we're friends. Whatever. He
doesn't tell Dabo Swinney that we're friends.
Really tough to respect the app state and the
What
Big
about
12
now?
take. You
What
can't
about
be
now?
serious. We're in. You're in now.
What about now?
You're in now.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
want to make sure for the audience who's listening, because, of course, we were doing a visual bit on an audio medium. I have donned a bald cap because we have a bald in studio. And since Robert Saleh has been named the coach of the Titans, this is what we do for all our bald guests.
Which brings me to my next point.
Yes.
Lack of journalistic integrity on this show. I actually think it's a great time if you're like me and you have fancied yourself something other than a journalist here lately. Because if you're a journalist, you got to cover everything in sports, right? If it's in your wheelhouse, if it's in the lane of the sport you journalistically cover, You got to talk about it. Well, the way I get out of that and have for a long time is I say, I'm not a journalist. I'm just someone who commentates. I got a YouTube channel. You can watch if you like or don't watch if you don't like. But here's what happens. When you have things that pop up, and you are very familiar with this happening in your world lately,
Sure.
You don't have to talk about it. And there would be many, many a time if I lived in the NFL world, especially with off-the-field matters, where I'd just say, hey, man, I know these folks. I ain't talking about it. Go somewhere else if you want to listen to it.
Indeed. So college football playoff expansion.
Oh, man.
No, wait. No, I want to talk about your speaker series first before we talk about, because I honest to God, I can sense the fatigue from you anytime I bring up something bureaucratic or administrative in the world of college football specifically. And so I would like to delay that particular conversation and start with some fun.
I will allow it.
Okay, very good. Did you think over under on the amount of questions you thought you were going to be able to ask Dabo Swinney in your most recent interview?
We did this. I told him to his face the night before. We had an over-under. I didn't tell him the number. It was 4.5. Got 5 in. We went an hour, 2 minutes. I got 5 questions in.
I did not laugh my whole way through that interview, but I just knowing the parties involved, knowing you obviously more than I know of Dabo, not knowing Dabo, but just I was tickled by that entire experience.
Here's the better part. The better part's the behind-the-scenes aspect that I did Kirby on Monday, early in the day. So after that, I worked out at Georgia. We get out of there by like 1 o'clock. Clemson's an hour and a half up the road. So we're in town by 3:30, something like that. we're not due to go over to Clemson's facility to interview him until the next morning. And who wouldn't want a fun-filled free afternoon in Clemson, South Carolina? Like, whomst amongst us hasn't asked for that a time or two? Then I get hit up by Clemson. Hey, Dabo's got a speaking engagement tonight at 7:30 in Rock Hill. He'll be back here by 8:45. He wants to know if you just want to come over and hang out. Now, I've never met this man in my life. He's been my white whale. I've told you many times. He has been the one bucket list item on the interview agenda we have not been able to lock down. So you can imagine my surprise when he wants to hang out. Now, a good seasoned journalist would turn down that opportunity, but I am not a journalist. So I said, absolutely, I want to hang out the night before the interview. So I go over to the facility. I don't know how to describe it to you. You've had a fever dream before. We've all had fever dreams before. This was a 4-hour fever dream. I didn't leave the facility until 1 a.m.
Sounds like a hallucination. Sounds like a night out.
Clemson's side note, Clemson probably has the best facilities I've ever seen, and I did not know that. Palatial. All the room in the world, all the land in the world. They're like A&M, so they can expand exponentially. So we just, I don't know how to describe it. It's like if you had a lock-in as a kid at, Hollywood Connection was a big deal in Columbus, Georgia, where I'm from, and they got the putt-putt and they got the go-karts. Well, that's essentially Clemson's facility, and it's just us and the janitors in the building, basically. So it's just two 10-year-olds. And I've never met him before, but it feels like you've known him your whole life. Anyway, I got really comfortable really quick with him. And I said, I know you're going to filibuster me. I watched you on McElroy earlier today. He said goodbye at 28 minutes, and the thing ended at 37 minutes.
Correct.
He had a 9-minute goodbye. And he just laughed. And he said, I am who I am. I'm not apologizing for it. And,
I heard that in the interview.
Sure enough, I think we had... We could have gone 3 hours easily. We cut it at a little over an hour, and I got 5 questions in.
Yeah. So just on the front of where are they now heading into the 2026 college football season? I watched and covered this most recent NFL draft, and Clemson, if I'm not mistaken, if Indiana had 9 players get drafted in the NFL, I'm pretty sure Clemson was one of the few teams that had more than 8 players drafted in the NFL. I want to say the number was 9. Every time you see a situation like that, especially with a team like Clemson that performed the way that it did last year, you're thinking, how mad is that fan base? Because they had all of this talent. They underachieved by their standards. And I get that this specific coach is going to be this kind of a character no matter what kind of setting he's in. But I wonder if you find him too keenly aware of his criticisms, because he comes off, every time I hear him in these interviews, hyper defensive. And I don't know if that's just how he carries himself, and he's super animated, and Dabo talks about this and about himself, and this is who I am, this is how I'm going to be, I'm not going to be anybody else no matter what circumstance he's just coming through. But I know that they were favored to win the national championship last year, and I know, to me, listening as closer to a casual than probably most of the audience, that to me struck me as a coach that is too keenly aware of the coverage around him.
I think he is. He is a really interesting dude because he really stays off the internet. He has no presence on the internet, but he's aware of most of what is said. He is, the reason I say he's interesting is he is very, very resolute. Like, he's very staunch in his beliefs. I've always had respect about that. You and I have sat in this room many times, talked about Clemson and Dabo, and I've always said, man, I'm so conflicted on him. You watched the interview. I said this to his face. I've always been so conflicted on you because I've got things I wish you would do. Like, I think I wish they'd lean into the portal a little more. I've always maintained the belief that you can define the values and principles of Clemson football. And yes, those are available in high school player form, but I also think there are several guys in any given portal cycle that exhibit those characteristics. You don't have to sacrifice your values to go to the portal. His counter to that is, to have room on my roster to go to the portal, I got to cut kids loose. I'm not about to sit in someone's living room and promise that I value the degree and value education, then cut them loose because they're not a good enough football player. His stance is, if I recruit you, I sign off on you as a football player. I evaluate you as being good enough to play for Clemson. You get here and 2 years in, I realize you're not good enough. That's my fault. That's not your fault. So I'm not cutting you loose. And since they don't cut guys loose, and they don't, trust me, they don't.
Sure.
There's never any room on the roster, and therefore, how are we going to go to the portal if we have no room? So that's just like one example. I do think that it has the potential to become one really, really messy situation just across the landscape this year. Because last year, it was Brian Kelly we were talking about. It was Billy Napier we were talking about. Well, we saw the way that those two things went, but neither one of those guys, neither one of their Wikipedia pages could tote Dabo's Wikipedia page's jock. Dabo's won multiple titles. He is Clemson football. And for an entire multiple generations now, he is Clemson football. He redefined what the Tiger Paw means. What happens if they go 6-6? What happens if they follow up a 7-win season with a 6-win season? And his belief about how they're going to bounce back, how they're going to rebound, it's just unfounded. It's more of the same, if not worse, because on paper, this is a worse talent roster this year than they had last year. Now, they believe it can be a better team, but, belief in May doesn't get you very far. So, it's a moot point if they're right. If they're wrong, it's not as simple as, we're going to make a move. That's Dabo Swinney. That is Dabo Swinney. I don't really know how that would factor, or I don't know how it would play out. I do know this. If the worst were to happen, he does not strike me as a guy that's going out quietly. And it's not that I discussed this with him or anyone over there. This is just my vantage point. It was before I went over there. It still is. I don't know how that would be handled cleanly. Now, I will say this, and this can expand into the broader discussion around a bunch of stuff in college football right now. All right, so most of us who love college football have some degree of problem with the current state of the sport. Many of us have big problems with the state of the sport, which just translates to there's a lot of stuff that we wish was present, maybe that used to be present, that there's not nearly enough of anymore. The one thing I have said and will continue to say about Dabo Swinney is you may not appreciate him fully until he's gone. Because you may look back and you may say, wow, that era that I was complaining about A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and that guy actually had a lot of that. And for some reason, I banged on him. I hated on him at the time because just everyone else was. And that guy was kind of putting some practices in play that I was yelling I wish were more prevalent.
Yeah. Given the current atmosphere of college football, do you think that he still has the ability to win a title there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I will.
Definitively, yes.
Yes. So this past portal cycle, it's not that they've abstained totally from that thing. Tom Allen's their defensive coordinator, for example. He's entering his second year. I know from talking to people over there, and this was before last week, one of his big observations after year one was we're not fast enough in the secondary. We're just not fast enough. We have to get faster athletes. Well, they went to the portal and did that. They don't live in the portal. They don't even heavily lean into the portal, but they did dip into the portal. So there's an early signifier that maybe there is a little bending. You don't have to break anything you believe in, but maybe there is a little bending. Maybe there is a little flexing. Now, here's the follow-up. What if we go into this season and what if their pass defense is greatly improved? Because it sucked last year. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't defend the pass. What if it's greatly improved? And what if that reaffirms to Dabo, all right, maybe I need to go a little bit further down that road. Point being, Clemson's not terrible. They're not terrible. They lost close games last year because they, I would say, voluntarily put themselves in a position where they didn't have a talent roster advantage that they used to. But they could reestablish a talent roster advantage over 90% of their schedule if they were to not even sell out and just holistically do what everyone else does. Just lean into it a little bit more. Because elsewhere, that place is resourced enough. He talked last week like they were in a bread line. They're not. They're not Miami, but they don't have to be that. They are not, Texas, but they don't have to be that. If you believe in your culture, you believe in 2 + 2 = 7 if you do it the way that we do it. If you believe in all that, and I don't think it's BS, I think there's some validity to it, well, just get within a 9-iron of their rosters. And then your way of doing things will take care of the rest when you face them, whenever that may be.
I'm going to ask Josh Pate about the trajectory of the Tennessee program under Josh Heupel as we head into another year with some questions around that roster. I'm Buck Risings, 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken and Bald Caps.
I have a statement. I have a statement I would like to make.
Please, the floor is yours.
All right.
Josh Pate making said statements for what it's worth.
So, I got no life. I ride around the greater Nashville area every morning, and I listen to the show. But especially when I'm on my way over here, I listen to the show. And this morning, you were talking about what you would potentially autograph off of this show, that would have unique value to this show.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't know how we would bottle up in tangible form the conversations that we have during commercial breaks. But if we could do that, put it on something, put it on a CD for all I care.
Look at Robert shaking his head in fear. No.
I'm not saying anyone's going to keep their job after we do this. I'm saying hopefully we make enough money to retire, because we're certainly cooked if it ever goes public, but that would be the asset that we want to auction off.
Buddy, there's money in it if you sell it to TMZ or the New York Post.
Sure is.
Turns out. So yes, we will get on bottling the ethos of the in-break conversations of this radio show with all of our friends, because again, it would get everybody fired, but it would be the kind of thing that we would profit off of for years in our shame.
Probably the way we would have wanted to go out.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Put the cap back on.
But one time he decides he wants to actually be a producer. Put the cap back on.
My favorite part of the job.
Yeah, okay, very good. The cap is back on. We've got the bald cap on. Paul Feinbaum did an appearance here locally. I don't know, are you familiar with Crane and Cone? Jake Crane?
Just did their show yesterday, I think.
Okay, so you and Feinbaum both. Feinbaum's on there saying he feels like Tennessee is trending in the wrong direction under Josh Heupel as a program, and I would like to get your thoughts on that. Face value, understanding that you know that Paul Feinbaum obviously knows a great deal about that university and that program, but that you are studying these things on, no slight to Paul, a bit more of a granular level.
Yeah, I'd say I would put him pretty stagnant. I wouldn't put him as trending in either direction. I'd put it pretty stagnant right now. Now, the funny thing about Heupel's status is you would say to yourself generically right now, especially in the NIL portal era, where we're in a post-Signity Indiana world where it's been proven you could turn things around overnight at the worst program in Power 4. In that climate, you would say to yourself generically, you got to have playoff performance by 6 years in at a major program, or the fan base is going to run you out of town. Sure. You would say that generically. Okay, well, Josh Heupel is now 6 years in and doesn't have a playoff win. Heupel is 6 years in. He's never been to Atlanta to play for the SEC title. And yet the fan base is not marching with torch and pitchfork. And I think a lot of it has to do with understanding what they were prior to him getting there. You built up a ton of equity by a couple of double-digit win seasons in his first 3 years. The two Bama wins just build up a huge amount of equity, as they should. Not indefinite, but a huge amount. Then I think the game changer was Nico last year. I think the game changer was they had such a unique situation drop in their lap, and they respected how he handled it. Fan base respected how he handled it. And in a day and age where patience is non-existent, the Tennessee fan base, one of the most long-suffering fan bases of any major program in America this millennium, looked at it and said, if we have to eat a subpar season for the greater good of our head coach sending the message we want sent, we're not happy with it, but we'll be okay with it. And so last year, it wasn't a disaster of a season. They lost one possession game to Georgia in overtime, one possession game to Oklahoma. The Bama game is a double-digit loss that was kind of a one possession loss. It's just a pick six that turns a game. So it wasn't a disaster of a season. And now they go into another year, and they've got Faison Brandon, who they think is the future of the program. But if he starts this year, he's a true freshman. And again, there's this like undercurrent of, all right, man, maybe this is not the year either. Maybe it's another 8-win season. Maybe we flirt with 9 wins, but that's okay because next year and beyond, we think they're going to be there. Well, that's just a bunch of hope, but it could be true. But the point is, you're talking about the Tennessee fan base. And I think they're strangely okay over half a decade in with where they are. Now, that's not what Feinbaum's talking about. Feinbaum's not talking about what the fans feel. He's just talking about reality. I think it's really, really tied to the quarterback position like it is with most teams. And if that kid really is the future, Everything else will fall into place. Everything will be fine. He's got a situation on his hands he's got to deal with right now, too, with the Chaz Coleman thing. The kid that transferred in, and it, just telling you, it's a very much a 2026 problem. I mean, homesickness is not something I remember General Nealon having to deal with a lot with his roster, but it's just the way of the world now. And, he's got to deal with that. And I'm taking the stance. I don't think that kid's ever going to play. Therefore, I'll be pleasantly surprised if he does. Like, I'm not going to count on him playing. And that's just a very pessimistic view that I choose to take. But he's going to have to deal with that. And he's going to have to deal with the ramifications of how he handles that kid if he does come back. And how quickly is he inserted into the starting lineup. So there are a lot of factors in play. But I think this year, to me, I'm counting on it setting up next year. And then that ultimately determines to me what direction that program's going.
I like what you pointed out there specifically about the way that the fan base is reacting to him, because Tennessee fans are, I think, rightly stereotyped as hyper volatile.
But they're not. They're passionate. Go ahead. I don't like interrupting people.
No, please go ahead.
You're right that the public classifies them that way. The public's wrong about that. If they were right about that and the Tennessee fan base was really toxic and the fan base wasn't understanding, they would have just checked out. These people had a decade plus of opportunity to check out, and they kept showing up. I had so much respect from it, watching it from afar. I was living in Georgia at the time, and I watched it from, we touched the state, but I'm watching it from a little bit of a distance. And I'm like, I watch half-full stadiums all over the country, and they're half full with a good reason. The team's underperforming. They're not being given a reason to show up. Tennessee fans were not being given a reason to show up for a long time, and they still showed up. So, if you do that, first off, you could be hyper-aggressive. You could have short patience, and I would understand it. But even with the opportunity to have short patience, you don't have hot seat talk going on constantly with Heupel. You don't have people calling for him to be run out of town on a rail right now.
Not by his fan base. Externally, there seems to be that interest in starting those conversations, whether it be just for the sake of conversation or otherwise. But I'm sorry.
But here's the thing about that. That happens with more than just Heupel. It's happening with DeBoer right now. Yeah. There is a group of people. I'm not talking about Paul right here. I'm talking about just extending way, way, way out. 50,000-foot view of the sports media landscape. Bottom line is, a lot of people who cover sports do not know how to talk about the sport. And in the absence of being able to talk about the sport or even having interest in talking about the sport, they really enjoy trafficking and that sort of thing. Well, the problem is the demand greatly outweighs the supply a lot of times. So Heupel's an example. DeBoer's an example. You have to manufacture that drama. The reality is Kalen DeBoer's not on any hot seat right now. Josh Heupel's not on any hot seat right now. And if you listen to the fan bases on the ground, you would know that. But what you're talking about is, if I live in Detroit, Michigan, and all I know about the Tennessee fan base or Alabama fan base is what I hear on a radio show or what I see on my TV screen, you'd think the opposite. And it's a really good case study for why I do what I do year-round. I got to stay in the weeds year-round, because otherwise you lose touch of the only drumbeat that really matters, and that's the drumbeat on the ground amongst fan base.
So, Josh Pate in studio, Josh Pate's college football show, available on YouTube, available wherever you get your podcasts. He's doing his speaker series right now. Most recent interviews include Kirby Smart and Dabo Swinney. Specific to Heupel, because as we talk about, almost every question that I have about the state of things happening in or around college football are based on the atmosphere, the climate that currently exists. Heupel, he has had to navigate, at least from my standpoint, an outsized number of these situations to where Chaz Coleman just kind of you shrug your shoulders and was like, at least it's not Boo Carter and as messy as that got, or at least it's not Nico Iamaleava for as messy as that got. How many other coaches outside of our purview, where we're here in Tennessee, we talk a great deal about the Vols. We mention Vandy, obviously, from time to time. There's not nearly as much Vanderbilt coverage, though, just relative to the nature of the fan bases. How many other coaches are navigating as many of these situations as Heupel is? And how many are doing it as well as it seems Josh Heupel seems to be? Because I would give him a ton of credit for being able to navigate these specific situations, talking about the quarterback having the issue that he did. And then you're dealing with Boo Carter in the same fell swoop. When now here's, a number of different things where you're trying to figure out how much around Mike Matthews was was conjecture or just talk about what he was leveraging or how he was trying to leverage whatever these different situations may be. I'm sure that this is happening everywhere in the country. I'm just not sure how often, how frequent, and how other people are navigating them relative to the way that we see Josh Heupel and maybe Clark Lee doing it.
There are degrees of it happening everywhere. I would agree with someone if they said Tennessee seems like they're bearing the brunt of a disproportionate amount of the unique situations. It does feel that way to me. So I think what Josh Heupel's done a good job of is avoiding human reaction. Normal human reaction to this stuff you cannot afford to have. Normal human reaction is you completely flip out and you respond in a way that burns a lot of bridges just because you're angry. And your anger gets used against you down the road by other people who are looking to negatively recruit against you. So I think, look, he's furious about this stuff behind the scenes, as anyone would be. But you haven't seen him furious. The closest you've seen is the press conference he had regarding the Nico Iamaleava stuff. And he didn't yell and scream and bang the podium. He was really stern in his wording, which I think a lot of people appreciated, myself included. But I think that's the thing, because, look, he's been around this game for a long time. He has played the game. He's been around the game for a long time. So he knows how it used to be. And he understands there's certain change here that is not progress. And yet I've got to adapt to it or I'm going to die. I'm going to get left behind. So I got to do it. But you don't think that guy sits there every now and then he goes, what are we doing? Are you serious? I got to deal with this. But he gets paid. Is he over 10 a year? He's close to 10 a year.
Yeah,
if he's not,
I'm certain. I can double check that for you.
So if not close, I mean, he's in the upper 7-figure, low 8-figure per year club. Most of them are at the highest level. It just kind of is what it is.
9.
Oh, well, never mind. Complain all you want to if you're only making 9 a year. Breadcrumbs. The other thing that Tennessee has coming their way is that Adidas deal kicks in July 1st.
Yes.
And I know that people in our industry know how big a deal that is. Just for fans who don't understand, it is a massive deal. Because right now, you can traffic your NIL deals through your apparel partner, and the NCAA can't do anything about it. And Nike kind of sort of dabbles in it. Adidas is fully leaned into it. Tennessee knows that, and Tennessee is going to be a huge beneficiary from that.
We had a number of different teams in the SEC, number of different programs in the SEC turn over their coaches after a pretty calm year before that. As far as coaching turnover goes, which coach are you looking at with the most amount of intrigue, whether it's kind of like, I don't know about the fit there. I'm curious to see how this person will do at the next level. Who's kind of the science experiment in the SEC you're circling this year? Well,
the science experiment to me is Will Stein at Kentucky, because I believe in Will Stein. And a lot of the advanced metrics coaching search consultant type groups, they're really high on Will Stein. So, whichever metrics they choose to value, he peaks the meter in most all of those. And you're also, again, I keep going back to SIG, but that's only because once Indiana does it, you can't look at any program in the major 2 conferences and say something's impossible for them.
When are you going to sit down with SIG, by the way?
Within the next week.
Oh, breaking news. Breaking news. Okay, very good. Finally, a national championship caliber guest on the Josh Pate college football show.
We've warmed ourselves up. And now the undercard is nearly complete. Got to get Ohio State out of the way Monday. Then the undercard will be complete. Then the main event happens Tuesday.
You don't know what that does to me. What that does to me inside to hear Ohio State as the undercard. All right,
absolutely. Very good. As a Notre Dame fan, I know that means a lot to you. It means a ton.
You'll never know. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What in the world was I saying?
Well,
so Kentucky. Yeah. So Will Stein at Kentucky, that'd be one. And I don't expect you to know this, but Kenny Minchie was the backup quarterback at Notre Dame, who fought C.J. Carr. Allegedly, he almost won the job. Anyway, Nebraska.
Because Minchie's from around here, right?
I don't even know that.
I feel like I know that.
These kids are born to me the day they step on campus. Yeah.
Proceed.
So Nebraska thought they had him. And then Will Stein says, well, no, you don't. And Will Stein snatched him up. So theoretically, they'll have good quarterback play. So that's the science experiment. But if you want to talk realistically, who could make noise this year, I was higher on Florida than it turns out I should have been multiple years under Napier. It is not because they lack the talent. And this year, I went down and watched them scrimmage, they didn't scrimmage, they practiced. I watched them practice a couple of weeks ago. they're just, the wide receiver room may be the best in the country. Their running back situation is incredible. They brought Buster Faulkner in at offensive coordinator. He brought his quarterback with him. So, it's one of those, like Beck and Diego Pavia coming together to Vanderbilt, but it's just a more well-known pairing from Georgia Tech. John Summerall brings a definite shot of energy to that place, like noticeably. Just walking through there, watching practice, it's different. They're actually a team that's got a top 20 roster this year that no one's going to expect much of anything from because they think he has to rebuild that place, and he doesn't have to rebuild it. He's actually, if anyone's starting a game on second base, it's John Summerall. Now, he's still got work to do, and it's the bigger job than he's ever had in his life. And the skepticism will be, boy, didn't you guys just hire a G5 head coach from Louisiana? Didn't you learn your lesson? His words to me during the coaching search were, I don't think I have a great shot at the Florida job. Even I'm smart enough to know they're not going to hire another G5 guy from Louisiana. Well, it turns out they did.
Yep.
And so
even I'm smart enough.
Yeah, even I'm smart enough to know that. But they did. So I'm really high on Golish at Auburn too.
Kenny Minchie from Hendersonville. So Pope John Paul II is where he played his high school football. Just quickly, it's a tough story to ask you to summarize quickly, but I want the football implications, the college football implications, as you see it, of the Brendan Sorsby story at Texas Tech, because to my knowledge, there's not been a situation this extreme in the world of college football that we've known about.
This is it. This is the biggest one so far that we know about. He can't be allowed to play. He can't be allowed to play. Now, if the NCAA gets their way, and in this case I'm fully behind them, he won't be allowed to play. The only thing I'm paying attention to is the lawsuit, seeking an injunction. Because all this other stuff the NCAA has suffered defeat in would pale in comparison to this. Like if one of your players bets on games they're involved in, you suspend them, and a federal judge says, no, you can't do that. Well, you don't exist anymore. Yeah. And I know people joke about the NCAA being ineffective. No, this would erase their existence from the face of the earth. And at that point, I really don't actually understand any structure in college football. So that's all I'm paying attention to. There's layers to it. Like, there's nuance to it. People looked at it and they didn't have a good feeling because, like, why does this kid get the hammer dropped on his head, but gambling companies are advertising all over the place and all these leagues are profiting off of it? I got a big deal with FanDuel on my show. And they kept saying, boy, that's hypocritical. No, it's not hypocritical. There's just an understanding. If you play a sport, you can't bet on the sport. You especially can't bet on the games you're playing in. It's just, that's the dynamic that exists. If you want to bet on Indiana football, that's fine, but don't play for Indiana. Don't play the sport you're playing. That's not hypocritical at all. Like, there's certain things that you give up the right to do all the time in exchange for, and this is where I'm going to use this word softly, working somewhere. Now, the counter, as I'm sure his representation is going to present, is, well, he's not an employee. Yeah. What are you talking about? This is just a good old-fashioned student here. So I'm interested to see where that goes.
I am fascinated because the solution seems to be, well, just let him declare for the supplemental draft. Send him to the NFL. As if the NFL is not, I work with Calvin Ridley on a regular basis. The NFL kicked him out for a whole ass year for something less serious than what Brendan Sorsby is accused of doing. Josh Pate in studio with us here on 104.5 The Zone.
Yeah, Josh, since Lucas isn't here, we kind of talked about...
It's shrill, isn't it? I know.
From over the shoulder. Go ahead, sir.
Sorry, you guys are so well-spoken. I know a rube like me sounds like a total idiot busting in here, but it's because our smarter half is not here. The guy that worships at the altar of Pate State. And before you got in here, we were kind of discussing what would that religion look like? What would it sound like? So while you guys have been filibustering about whatever the hell you guys have been talking about, I have come up with some names for the religion of Pate, the cult of Pate, and I want to pitch them to you guys.
Would they all wear bald caps as such?
Have to. That would be their yarmulke. They would have to wear.
Probably just born that way.
Yeah. One squiggly little hair popping out of their dome.
What is the first name for the cult of Pate?
Patholicism. How do we feel about, or Patholicism, either way.
Patholicism actually is going on a T-shirt by the end of the day. The TM, trademark, that's mine now. Continue.
1%, that's all I asked. 1%.
It flows a little better than Patholicism.
Yeah, you'd probably not like Patelom then.
We're really just coming up with Pate T-shirts because as the merch store grows and grows and grows for the for Josh Pate's college football show. We would just like, we would just like a little taste.
Yeah,
Just a little
well, you
taste.
don't get any of it. You always steal my good ideas anyway. I
You
would
have
just
yet to have a good idea based on this.
okay. Patianity.
Next.
Patentology. You get Tom Cruise, get him out of Scientology into patentology. We can work it that way.
But then that almost sounds like patentology, which makes me think of Manning.
Makes me think of Peytonism.
Peytonism would be cool too. Pateduism. If you wanted to get in touch with your nonviolent side, you don't really want to go out there and argue with people. Maybe you're a UConn fan, another neutral Switzerland-esque college program.
You just want to
could
be mentioned by the show.
Yeah, you just Pateduism. They're
It doesn't interest. I'm very much a take for a take kind of guy. I'm very interested in the aggression.
All right, so I think we were going to land on Patholicism.
Catholicism seems to be the key.
We'll pass around the plate. Everyone drop your donations in. And
In fact, it's simply a bald cap turned upside down.
That's all it is.
That is the collection plate for the cult of Pate.
Appreciate you playing along with me.
Always a pleasure to have you in, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you. Late, Josh Pate.
The late Josh Pate.
The late Josh
Late
Pate.
for workout. That's what I'm late for.
All right, get out of here. He drank his pre-workout. He's getting a little shaky. Josh Pate's college football show, wherever you get your podcasts.
615-737-1045. Your chance to win tickets to see Bush with Mammoth at First Bank. All you got to do is call us up and tell us what your favorite thing, the best thing that happened in your week. What made your week good? What made your week fun? Give us a call, 615-737-1045. What you got, Buck?
Is that as close to hosting the show as you've been?
Last week when you and Lucas were both gone, the segment that we recorded was like 4 minutes too short, so I hosted a segment with Lyons talking about the install. But
Did you really?
yeah, it's okay. Multifaceted.
The other part of this is, so the Bush tickets are what's on offer, 615-737-1045. We made jokes about Bring Me the Horizon. Did you see the crowd at Bridgestone Arena for that last night?
It looked slap.
We are the idiots here, clearly. So if we make fun of a prize, just know it may very well be something that is hugely attended, because we had somebody send us pictures of their of the tickets that they won, or the show that they won tickets to through the show, and I was stunned. I was not familiar with Bring Me the Horizon's game. Well done. The Friday Fire for me this week is, have you seen, all right, how familiar are you with Madison Beers? Madison Beer, or Madison Beer, rather, not Madison Beers, plural, but Beer, singular.
Dating Justin Herbert, I believe.
She is the significant other of Justin Herbert right now, girlfriend of Justin Herbert. I did not know that she was a musician, but apparently she is a musician. And Justin Herbert is heavily featured in her latest music video. It's called Vixen, and it's just basically the two of them making out the entire time. So my Friday Fire is Justin Herbert being as comfortable in his situation with Madison Beer as the two appear to be, because this is either going to lead to an MVP caliber season for Justin Herbert and his newfound love, and they'll live happily ever after, forever and ever, amen, or this will be viewed by Chargers fans as a curse if his season does not go exactly to plan, because he's basically filmed an entire music video here. But I thought it was nice. I thought it was very cute.
Yeah, that's why you can't win a playoff game. Dude's not getting any sleep.
I think I might take that trade-off.
I wouldn't be mad at it. My Friday Fire is Lucas will be back Monday. Thank God. I can't spend another second in here with just you, please, Lucas.
You're not even in the same room.
Don't have a delayed flight. Don't get stranded in another country, please.
I was just starting to think that I might never bring him back in here, that I might retake control of the situation, that this is much more my speed. I can do what I want without any kind of buffer, any kind of pushback. You're not strong enough to stop me from doing what I want to do.
Nor do I want to fight it. I don't want to put up the effort in order to stop you from what you want to do. Lucas actually cares. So Lucas is usually the voice of reason. I'm like, I don't care. Hell, do it. No skin off my back. 10 minutes, I ain't got to talk.
Oh, very good.
Well, hell yeah. We got a bunch of good caller and submissions in here.
615-737-1045. What's your Friday Fire? The thing that happened to you that was positive this week for the opportunity to win those tickets to see Bush. And who else? Who else is playing with Bush?
Mammoth.
Mammoth. Okay, Bush and Mammoth. Let's start with JB.
Hey, fellas. How y'all doing?
We're doing great.
My Friday Fire is I ended up winning tickets to go see the Eagles Saturday. Got my tickets Monday. And I guess some bozo over there sent me an extra pair yesterday. Now the whole crew going.
Hell yeah. Well, maybe don't say anything publicly. I would be scared that somebody would take those tickets. When is the Eagles concert that's coming up?
I believe this weekend, yeah.
Okay.
Well, a bozo over here sent an extra pair? Did he win those with us? Is that what he was alluding to?
Oh, I don't know. That'd be funny if he said, yeah, some dumbass over there with you guys sent me an extra pair of tickets. That'd be great. I mean, that would be a good thing. Extra Eagles tickets?
I mean, yeah, you can't beat that,
Hell
man.
yeah. Let's go to Jay in Spring Hill.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon, guys. So my Friday Fire is going to happen tonight. We won tickets front row left side of Seinfeld, and I have my Master of My Domain shirt ready to display that I've had since the 90s.
Awesome. So I never saw Seinfeld.
Really? Oh, it's worth a rewatch. You would really enjoy the humor.
Because I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, and obviously Larry David wrote Seinfeld, which is that's his biggest claim to fame, right? Beyond being Larry David.
Right, yeah, I'd agree with that.
So he's got what's the reference? Do you understand the reference? Master of his domain?
Yeah, it's a part of the show. And one thing about Seinfeld is how much, you talked earlier about lexicon, how much lexicon Seinfeld added to pop culture, like yada yada. That's Seinfeld.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yada yada is from Seinfeld.
No.
Hold on. While you take the next call, I will find some sayings.
Surely that show did not come with yada yada. What? Somebody said Buck is not master of his domain. That's probably true on a number of fronts. Scoob is next.
Hey, hope you're having a great day, Buck.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so my Friday fire is you can start calling me Grandpa Scoob.
Oh,
I'm
lovely.
going to be a grandfather in November.
Do you know the sex of the baby?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm keeping it a secret for a while. But also, just a side note, was 289 in February, and now I'm 235.
Okay, very good.
Dang.
So significant weight loss. Going to be a grandpa, skinny
Yes,
grandpa, skinny grandpa Scoob. Well, it sounds like Jay already won tickets to Seinfeld.
I wonder if that was with it. Everyone's Friday Fire is just that they won
We won
something
things
from us.
you guys. Now give us more things.
And you idiots gave us double what you were supposed to.
I think you should give the Bush tickets to Scoob. I think
agree.
that's great. Congratulations
Festivus.
on being a grandfather.
Festivus was a Seinfeld creation. Even Steven was a Seinfeld creation.
No, that can't be true.
It is true.
Even Stevens, I feel like, came out around the same time as Seinfeld. Or does Seinfeld predate Even Stevens?
Even Stevens is like from the 90s, early 2000s.
When is Seinfeld? When is Seinfeld?
Seinfeld is like
80s?
I would assume so. I'm really bad about dates like that.
Somebody said Buck never seeing Seinfeld is not surprising at all. I don't know. It sounds like a show that I would like.
It does. Like you like Frasier.
Love Frasier.
See, Frasier, I think Seinfeld is a less dry Frasier.
Less dry Frasier? So there's more like slapstick comedy in Seinfeld?
No.
I mean, because he's literally playing himself, right? He's playing a comedian.
But Frasier at times I feel like can be like too smart of comedy, where like it's not really like a joke, but it's like the instances or the circumstances. That's kind of what Seinfeld is to me. The situations that the group get to put in.
Wait a minute.
What?
Is Master of My Domain a masturbation joke? The chat seems to be alleging that it is. This seems like something you should absolutely not Google on a work computer, so now Robert is going to make sure that he's done his due diligence.
Master of My Domain is a famous catchphrase from the Seinfeld episode The Contest, used as a euphemism for abstaining from masturbation to prove self-control.
Oh, okay. So if you are master of your domain, then you are not participating.
Congratulations, Scoob. Can't wait for you to enjoy the show, man. Congrats on the baby.
It's not his baby. It's a grandbaby. 615-737-1045. The Steelers should be ashamed of themselves.
Wait. We also have some breaking news.
Oh, all kinds of good stuff next.
12:01. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Down studio. I am Robert Walsh. NFL news from yesterday. VFL and former 49ers free agent wide receiver Jawan Jennings and the Minnesota Vikings have reached an agreement on a one-year, $8 million deal that could be worth up to $13 million in incentives. In 5 seasons, Jennings caught 210 catches for 2,500 yards and 22 touchdowns. NBA playoffs last night. The Pistons take Game 2 in a 2-0 series lead as they beat the Cavaliers 107-97. As well as the reigning NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder handling the Lakers 125-107, also taking a 2-0 series lead. Tomorrow night, Eastern Conference leading Nashville Soccer Club is back in MLS play as they hit the pitch against DC United at Geodis Park. 8:25 is the kickoff, and you can tune in here right on 104.5 The Zone with Will Bowling on the call. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour is upon us on this Friday, and we open up with the most important of sports questions. What was the better TV show, Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm? I have not seen Seinfeld. I have seen Curb Your Enthusiasm. I haven't made it through the most recent season. I did not get there. I know that there is a season that's been put out within the last, year or year and a half that I have not gotten to, but I am curious to know if the audience thinks that Seinfeld was the better product written by Larry David, or if Curb Your Enthusiasm featuring Larry David was the better TV show.
I think that's tough because it's like comparing two players at the same position with two completely different games. Like it's like comparing Derrick Henry as a running back to Alvin Kamara as a running back, where Seinfeld was more ready for TV, probably more watchable, more digestible, easier to have on in the background. But Curb, being an HBO property, was a little freer and funnier because they could be a little raunchy. So it's really whatever taste you're going for. If you want something that can be background noise that you don't have to pay attention to get the jokes, you can pop in, pop out, laugh at Kramer, laugh at George's bald head, Seinfeld's probably your game. But if you want something that's a long watch and your watching is going to pay off because you paid attention for the jokes, then your game is Curb.
We also have a little bit of sports news to start the final hour before
breaking sports news on 104.5 The Zone.
This doesn't feel necessary.
I like the late show.
All right. The NFL and the NFL Refs Association have officially agreed to a new CBA that will run through 2032. So the league just put out a press release. The NFL and the NFL Refs Association have reached a 7-year CBA that will run through the 2032 season. The current deal was scheduled to expire at the end of this month. The agreement was approved by the NFL Refs Association Board of Directors, ratified by the vote of the NFLRA membership. Quote, this agreement is a testament to the joint commitment of the league and union to invest in and improve officiating. It also speaks to the game officials' relentless pursuit of improvement and officiating excellence. We look forward to working together for the betterment of the game. That's from NFL Executive VP of Football Operations. That's Troy Vincent with the quote in there. This is not showing any number of, so the deal covers a wide range of issues, including economics, performance, and accountability, all with the shared goal of ensuring the outstanding officiating that the game demands. But it's not giving details as to what levels of performance and accountability are being improved here. I'm sure there's more money involved for refs. I think people were pretty stunned to find out that the average NFL referee makes $350,000 a year just doing that because it's a 1099 gig, basically, for their full-time jobs. I think it's fair compensation. I'm sure some people, especially if you've been on the wrong side of calls with refs in Titans games, or if you're a fan of another team where that's impacted, you would say that guy's a bum. He doesn't deserve, much less to wear that shirt he's got on, much less $350,000 a game on average is what the refs are making. I would be curious to know what level of performance and accountability measures have been agreed to here. If there's going to be actual improved accountability regarding refs, because right now, I think that NFL refs, Robert, I don't know if you watch enough of other sports or are invested in enough of different sports that you would have an opinion on this. I feel that NFL refs are the group of officials that deal with accountability the least of the major sports.
Interesting.
I think that now the automatic, the ABS system in baseball has provided, I mean, it's almost to the point where you're embarrassing some of the umps for how wrong they get some of these calls in real time versus the ABS system, where things are being automatically reviewed and players can challenge, which I love that as a feature. You have the NBA, where the NBA has the final 2-minute report where missed calls are discussed. Obviously, you can't impact those things in game, but you do still have the ref coming to a mic on camera, announcing the call in front of everybody, basketball gods, broadcasters, and otherwise, in a way that I feel like gives some level of transparency. NFL refs, if there is a call that demands further questioning, it happens where you have to, as a member of an NFL media corps, your pool reporter, your elected pool reporter. So there's one of us. It's not me. There's one of us in every group. I'm pretty sure it was John Glennon for a number of years. Now it's Nick Suss at the Tennessee, and he's our pool reporter. So we would send a number of questions that we have about a missed call in a Titans game to Suss. And Suss would then take them to the head official for that game. After the game is over, submit a number of questions. That reporter is tasked with asking those questions, and then there is a written report that's delivered to all of us with the lead official's quotes that we can use.
This all makes so much sense. Back in 2018, I applied to be the Jaguars pool reporter, and it's not what I thought it was.
Not what you thought it was at all.
No, I talked about being a lifeguard. I talked about knowing CPR, and I never got a call back, and I wondered why. I was like, I am more fit to be a pool reporter than anyone.
Nobody has ever been more physically shaped to float in a pool and do reporting.
Save anyone.
So no.
Someone should do that. Nick should do it. Like he should have like a little kiddie pool. He brings like outside the state and your pool report.
That makes me think of Titans media members who'd be most uncomfortable in a bathing suit. I feel like Nick Suss would be high up there on the list.
Oh.
Like who do we feel like is physically insecure? Easton?
He's got a good little body.
He built like a Lego.
The Legos are tight. Legos got a good symmetry associated with their form. I feel like it would be me, even though I'm not a really reporter.
No, you don't count.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to see my soft belly, my smooth
I don't think that's
belly.
true. In fact, I think you're way too comfortable showing people your tummy. Anyway, so that's the latest on the ref front. And we do have, I want to wag my finger at the Pittsburgh Steelers here quickly, okay?
You wag away.
So recently, there was word that Aaron Rodgers was visiting Pittsburgh, as if he doesn't know everything that's associated with the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise after most recently playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's got to take a visit to Pittsburgh because he hasn't committed to signing a contract there to be their quarterback for 2026. But everybody's optimistic. Everybody's happy. Everybody's, just completely content to hold their lives hostage for a 42-year-old quarterback who, I don't know, is Aaron Rodgers a top 16 player at his position based off of last year's sample size?
Before we get into that, Andrew Filipponi, if you'll remember, he is the Steelers beat writer who made a bet about the Steelers, and if it did not come true or it did come true, he would get his nipples pierced.
And did.
He did. I love when people commit to the bit. Steelers general manager Omar Khan tells Chris Mack on Westwood One Sports that he doesn't know where Aaron Rodgers is.
Yeah.
He wouldn't confirm that he's in town for a visit this weekend.
So that's what I'm getting to here, okay? because I'm reading this. I read Pro Football Talk in the morning just to kind of get a glance at what other NFL teams are talking about, what news may be relevant to us, worthy enough to talk about doing a local show. So I'm reading these quotes from Omar Khan, who's on the show You Better Bet. You Better, You Bet. What the hell is that? That's the name of a show. You Better, You Bet.
You just had to get bet in there.
That's completely unnecessary. So this is the full quote. Yeah, I don't know where specifically Aaron is. Okay. I can tell you that Aaron and I and Coach Mike McCarthy and Aaron and Aaron's representatives, we've had some good conversations since the season ended and since Mike got here, and it's been positive. But yeah, I don't know where Rodgers is at this moment. We continue to have conversations, and they're positive. And, we've had a good experience with him last year, and I think he would probably echo the same thing, and conversations continue. The Steelers are one of the most proud, most established legacy franchises that we have in professional sports, not just in the NFL. The Steelers are essentially being held hostage by a geriatric quarterback that for some reason still gets an outsized level of attention relative to his level of play. If I was a Steelers fan, and I don't know how Ramon Foster feels about this, I haven't asked him, but if I was a Steelers fan, I would be embarrassed by the way that my organization is behaving, because you are not just going to sit there and let Aaron Rodgers cuck you all off season as you go through the motions and just pretend, yeah, but he still loves me at the end of the day. You're not the Jets. It's one thing if Aaron Rodgers does this to the Jets, because the Jets are a laughingstock. They're an embarrassment. They should be grateful that Aaron Rodgers would even consider playing for that mess of a franchise. You're the Steelers. You're supposed to have a higher standard. You're supposed to be capable of conducting your business in a way that would indicate that you are better than this. How the hell are the Pittsburgh Steelers not better than this as an organization? Because it's not even like this is the difference between them winning or losing the Super Bowl. It's the difference between them squeaking into another wild card or maybe a division win situation like they did this year because the Ravens missed a kick at the end and all of a sudden the Steelers are in it and Mike Tomlin's beating his chest in ways that are a bit nonsensical because you didn't really earn it. Your opponent just missed one in a critical time where they had no business missing one, and you got in, okay? So that's the difference that we're talking about Aaron Rodgers making. 10-7 versus you probably doing what you need to do and bottoming out and actually fixing your franchise sustainably for the future. All because what? You're too proud to go through a losing season. And that losing season, no losing seasons under Mike Tomlin at any point during his tenure, that streak doesn't matter if you don't do anything with it. And they haven't done anything with it for 15 years. The Pittsburgh Steelers should be embarrassed by their behavior here.
More.
I can't believe it.
Give me more.
You're a Ravens fan. I know you hate them anyway. But they're acting like they're the Browns or the Bengals. Grow up. You don't need this 42-year-old to just, does he like me or does he not like me? Is he going to pass me a note in class or not? It's pathetic behavior by one of the most important brands that we have in pro football.
We have more breaking news.
Next. Two Rivers Ford is the South's most trusted Ford dealer for any number of reasons, not just because they win awards for their level of customer service, not just because they have quality American-made Ford vehicles, all variety of Ford vehicles available in one of the Southeast's largest inventory of Ford vehicles right here in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. No, it's because Two Rivers Ford offers you great deals like employee pricing for everyone that's going on right now at the South's most trusted Ford dealer. You go to Two Rivers Ford, you speak to one of their non-commissioned salespeople. The car buying process is going to be a breeze, fast, easy, and more fun. And because they do not work on commission, you do not feel any pressure on you throughout the course of the car buying process. They're going to make a paycheck whether they sell you a vehicle that day or not. And it provides you the opportunity to get a car buying experience that does not come with any pressure. They're going to help you find a vehicle that makes the most sense for your family's budget and for your needs. Employee pricing for everyone at Two Rivers Ford, local, honest, real, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it, no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ms. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running upstairs. And
not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
What are you yelling about back there?
Nothing. What, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you through the soundproof glass. There's like 3 foot of glass between you and me. The hell are you yelling about back there?
They're just talking about ball. Just talking ball.
Talking about ball?
Yeah. You get a little passionate.
I don't think that's true.
It was 100% ball talk. The kind of athlete. I don't even want to talk about it with you. We do have breaking NFL news to discuss, though.
Is it laser light show worthy?
No, it's not. We ain't
Okay,
gonna worry.
very good. What is the breaking NFL news?
Oh, have you not seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
Breaking sports news on 104.5 The Zone.
Break out your calendars per Adam Schefter. The NFL has confirmed that the schedule release will be next Thursday, May 14th. Go ahead and write them in. Circle those dates.
Oh, God, what time? Are we going to have to do a schedule release show?
Every year, baby.
I don't want to do that.
Every year. You ain't got no choice.
Well, yeah, we do.
Big Boss Bert telling you we got to do schedule release show. And then we can figure out how many wins they're going to have and if they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
I hate that.
Me too. Me too. I like it because you get to see the ebbs and flows, but at the end of the day, the teams that they are now are still not the teams that are going to end up playing in the season. So it's fun to look at, but there's not a whole lot of actual merit attached to it.
Yeah. Well, it's one, if you're a fan who attends road games, it's a fun opportunity because you know that, for example, the Titans are going back to Las Vegas. So if you didn't get to do the Vegas trip last year, I'm sure the Titans will have some kind of they had something for season ticket members or some level of like, hey, if you want to do this with the team, they had some kind of activation, I think is the word that they would use around the Vegas trip because it's the first time that the Titans had played in Las Vegas since the Raiders moved there. Now, maybe they don't do it quite as big as they did last time. I know there was a road rally thing. It's one of the last public Coach Mack appearances was at the road rally. He was up there on stage with Vandenbosch and Rhett and a number of other Titans players that made the trip, former Titans players that made the trip. So that was cool of them to do for fans that made those trips. But yeah, if you're somebody who schedules one road game a year or something like that to go to with your buddies, schedule release a big deal. For me, schedule release a huge deal because I get to play my vacation. Where's my bye? when am I going to Miami? When is my bye week?
A lot of people could say that I am a shill for certain things, but one thing I'm going to give all you guys a heads up and let you know right now, you're doing yourself a great disservice if you go to Vegas and you want to stay in Old Vegas on Fremont Street and you're not looking at Circa. Circa is the best hotel on Fremont. They have the best deals, the best entertainment. If you've never been to Stadium Swim on their rooftop, it's like 100 TVs. You can watch every game, every sport, swim up blackjack tables. It doesn't get any better than that. If I go to Vegas and I'm not staying at Circa, I'm not going to Vegas. So as soon as you have that date, go ahead and pencil it in because that is the place to be. I every time we talk about Vegas, I will wax poetically about how much fun that place is. If you don't go to the delicatessen they have at 3 o'clock in the morning and get a Reuben, you're missing out. You're just missing out.
You have some kind of endorsement deal I don't know about?
No, but I wish. I would sing their praises from, and I've stayed Circus.
Somebody said, what is this, a commercial?
Golden Nugget. No, I'm just telling you guys. You can stay at any of those other Who's It's and What's It's on Fremont, but there is not a better stay in Old Vegas than Circa. It's just not possible.
Where did I stay?
Probably the Flamingo. That's a little Vegas humor for you cats out there. They got a new pool at the Flamingo now.
No, I stayed at the MGM Grand.
Of course you did.
What MGM Grand is it's not like a crazy luxury hotel. Calm down.
Yeah, you're like, yes, I was at the Bellagio the first night. Yeah,
I didn't say that I stayed in a suite or something like that.
The second night I stayed in the suite underneath the water feature. Slept in the Eiffel Tower the next night.
Had an infinity pool overlooking. Yeah, not quite. Or at least that's not what my expense report says.
My favorite thing about the table games or whatnot there are all the reasons for you to stay. My favorite thing, dude, I played blackjack for probably like 6 hours at Circa.
I've never learned how to play poker, and I feel like I want to learn how to play poker. Blackjack I can do.
Poker is one part understanding the game and other part people reader, bluffing, like being a social deducer.
You would be terrible at poker.
You would think that.
No.
And that's part of my game.
I know.
And that's part of my game. I don't need glasses. I can play dumb for real.
It's not playing dumb. You are.
I'm leaning in. I'm leaning into the dumb.
No. I'm not making a joke about your level of intelligence. I'm saying you're very combustible. Like, you are an emotional person.
Yes.
Of the three of us,
yes.
You are by I bet people would guess that I'm the most emotional one just because I get, pissed about things that wouldn't normally bother an average human being. You are by far and away the most emotionally reactive of the three of us.
Correct.
Not even close.
I wear my emotions on my sleeve. That's why I go all in, right off the rip.
Somebody says on the YouTube chat that I strike them as a cosmopolitan type of guy. Cosmo's cool. Cosmo's a good hotel.
Is that New Vegas?
Yeah.
I've never wanted to stay there. It just seems, I don't know, congested. I mean, all of Vegas is obviously congested, but you're not getting that on Fremont. If you've ever been to Fremont and you see the shows they do at all hours of the night, my favorite is Spandex Nation. They cover like 70s, 80s, 90s rock, and they are incredible. They are just top of the line cover bands. I want to go to Vegas. I want to go to Vegas this year. How do I go to Vegas?
You can't come with me.
What?
Well, I mean, you can physically. Well, you certainly can't go now that Spirit's folded.
I'll drive there. It doesn't matter.
You know what I'm most upset about?
What?
The people that were flying Spirit Airlines are now going to be on my flights.
Oh, no.
And by the way, I'm mad at Southwest. It's not like I'm flying in I'm not like Delta first class type of situation. I'm a Southwest person because I can get a direct flight from Nashville to any NFL market from Southwest, so I am a Southwest person. Not very happy with Southwest lately here either. I can still get my extra leg room, but my A-list, priority boarding, all these other things are no longer as beneficial as they used to be. I'm not happy about that at all.
My leg room will be impacted. Oh, no.
Well, it's really not, because I still get my leg room.
What will I do about the children and the on-air entertainment?
But it's who's sitting next to me now.
It could be me.
Yeah, that's what I don't like.
It could be me.
You should be on a Spirit flight.
I have
Not
the
on my
Spirit of flight from North Carolina, first in flight.
Somebody says always Frontier. That sounds like that sounds like
terrible marketing plan.
Imagine being so committed to an airline of choice. Like, no, I'm a Delta person. No, I'm a United person. No, I'm a Frontier person. Are you insane?
I was also shocked to find out that you don't really get to gamble and drink for free anywhere outside of like Vegas and Atlantic City. Like, usually, I was always accustomed to, because I went to Vegas, that if you're gambling, playing at the tables, playing craps, whatever it is, that they're paying you to stay and hang out and spend your money at the table. They don't want you to leave. So when I went elsewhere, when I've been to other places, like when I go to Cherokee with my mom, hard to find out that a gin and tonic is $12. It's like, I thought I'm already giving you guys all of my money in the game. I wanted to be inebriated for free.
Somebody said Vegas was better when it was run by the mob. That's the other thing. Now, I know you enjoy Vegas no matter what. The Titans' trip to Las Vegas this past year is the first time. Now, I was there for a bachelor party a couple of years ago. I want to say like 23. So that was the last time that I had been to Vegas since last season. So not that long. But I don't know. I was just surprised. Vegas seemed kind of dead to me.
They're kind of dealing with that right now with the flights and everything else. That's why if you look
economic situation, if you're going to impact discretionary income, Vegas is going to be one of the first places hit.
100%. And I mean, it's not such a novelty as it was in the 90s or the where it's like, okay, you can do things here that you can't do elsewhere. But now you can go to table games elsewhere. You can gamble elsewhere. You can bet on sports elsewhere. And that's why you see a lot of Vegas hotels putting out flight packages, like all-inclusive numbers, where it's like you pay one money and you get your stay, the flight, the yada, 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 all that stuff got thrown together and trying to get people to actually go to Vegas. Have you been to the Sphere? I did not expect us to spend this entire segment talking about
It's
Vegas.
fine. The other thing we had penciled in here was, am I more optimistic about the Titans' offense or defense?
Which is a good conversation, by the way.
Later. It's evergreen. Got all summer for that crap. Sports talk radio programming, baby. You're seeing it at its finest. So I did not go to the Sphere. Jimmy Wyatt went to, I want to say he saw the Eagles at the Sphere while we were in town. Because I remember Jimmy being really, I think he's been to 2 shows at the Sphere. I'm pretty sure he told me recently he went with his kids to Kenny Chesney. They did like a Wyatt family vacation, which would be just delightful. Wonderful people, that family. They did a family vacation to Vegas, and they saw Kenny Chesney at the Sphere. And I'm almost certain that Jimmy said he was trying or working on getting tickets to the Eagles at the Sphere. I'm pretty sure he got it done.
What Jimmy wants, Jimmy gets.
I would say yes.
That's a matter of fact. Right now at the Sphere, The Wizard of Oz is being shown, which I imagine is just a trippy event.
Yeah, I don't think I like that.
No Doubt.
Ooh.
Yes.
Banger.
Have you seen the Sphere for their open before they come on and actually play? It was really stinking cool.
You haven't been to the Sphere.
No, I haven't. But next time I go, I will make sure to go. I don't care who's playing. I've got to go.
Show trip to the Sphere?
You say I can't go with you, though. So
Well,
I can go to the Sphere with you.
You can't stay with me. You have to stay in a separate hotel from me.
Good. I want my own room.
Okay. I feel like I would have to sit on the ground floor of the Sphere, or I would get, like, motion sickness. Isn't that a thing? Like, if you sit in the stands, if you're in one of these elevated seats, if
or
you're
like vertigo,
stadium seating, like, I feel like that would trip me out, especially because I'm 100% taking like a 50 milligram edible and just losing my mind in there.
I feel like that's what it's generated for. And that's why I want a Sphere in Nashville. Sphere in Nashville would slap, dude. It would slap.
Okay, you're right. It would. I don't dispute that. I think, and this is old-fashioned because Dawn vehemently disagreed with me about this when I was dismissive of a Sphere in Nashville on Twitter. I want things that are unique to Vegas to stay unique to Vegas. I want things that are unique to Nashville to stay unique to Nashville. I don't want to be Vegas. I get that the Sphere is cool, and if you put one here, it's infinitely more accessible for the people here. And this is probably as old, get off my lawn as I'm going to sound, but like we have the Ryman, we have Bridgestone, we have Nissan. And I'm not saying that Nissan or Bridgestone are any wonderful kind of concert venues, but I love Ascend. I love Exit In. Like there's so many cool music venues that we already have that have historical context that matter in the landscape of actual music that they just put the big commercial Sphere thing in, which is probably going to happen anyway because they need something to put on that damn East Bank now that the junkyard officially sold, which everybody's very happy about.
Oh, lovely. I had no idea that happened.
Oh, yeah. No, the East Bank redevelopment plan is well underway because that's where they're talking about putting a Nashville Sphere is the junkyard site.
I thought that was also the site of the baseball team.
Baseball team. There's no baseball team.
You're not a believer.
There's a fake baseball team. There's a baseball team that has merch but doesn't have a team.
But they did something like this in L.A. with, is it Cosmo? Is it, it's a different spelling of Cosmo or something like that where they sell seats, virtual seats essentially, to sporting events where you can sit on the sidelines, I'm using air quotes, for Sunday Night Football or UFC or baseball game or NBA, whatever you would want to do. And they sell seats for that, but I don't think it's exactly like the Sphere. Maybe they do something like that. But I just think having a giant Sphere that works as a billboard is just such a cool tourist thing. But I understand how you want to keep Nashville as negatively touristy as possible, given its current construction.
CJ Frazier says Vegas has an Eiffel Tower. Pretty unique. Yeah, they got a pyramid too. It doesn't mean that the pyramids of Giza or the Eiffel Tower in Paris are less unique because there are miniature replications in Vegas. That's not a good argument.
Would you say that Vegas is the best away game that the Titans have on their current schedule? I have it in front of me.
All right, so you've got the three AFC South teams. None of them would fit this bill.
Ravens and Bengals.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. Besides the breweries and the zoo. I mean,
Dallas,
and Baltimore to a certain extent. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Easy answer. New York. New York, always best road trip. I love New York City.
I despise it.
That's insane.
Can't stand
insane
it, man.
behavior.
It's
For
just
you
the
to love-
rudest people, man. The worst kind of people.
And Vegas isn't?
No, Vegas, I've never had, it's all rednecks like me in Vegas. New York is like, hold the door for somebody.
That's me.
Yes, they're all you. Yes, exactly.
That's why I love it.
New York has fun things like I love like Broadway or Times Square or Central Park.
I would even pick Baltimore over Vegas because I like
Really?
I love Baltimore.
I do too, but I wouldn't. I mean, the horseshoe's cool and all, but I would probably still rather go to Vegas.
But I'm not I can't play table games. Like
that's a you problem.
You know,
you need to figure that out.
It's a huge problem. Well, yeah, I would need to remove myself from an NFL team's network broadcast, essentially. Which I'm fine to do. if you guys want to take Titans pregame off, I'm fine with that.
Baltimore is cool. The casino right after the game is within walking distance. You can go to the Inner Harbor, go to a nice seafood dinner. Jimmy's Seafood is elite.
Is it? It's not Beacon Hill. What's the name?
Yeah, Beacon Hill.
Is it Beacon Hill?
The old fort that overlooks the Inner Harbor.
It may be as drunk as I've ever been at the Horseshoe Came In on. It's one of my favorite bars of all time, anywhere in the country. It's in Baltimore. I went to that bar until like 4 a.m. right before I covered that Titans-Ravens divisional game where I thought the Titans were going to get smoked, and the Titans ended up smoking Baltimore, which was, for Titans fans, of course, a very pleasant surprise. Dallas...
It sucks because Dallas doesn't play in Dallas.
Also, yeah, Arlington's like 30 minutes away. And I know that's basically the case for New York. But in New York, I'm sitting in traffic no matter what. Like, if I got to go to East Rutherford, it takes me less time to get from Times Square, where I stayed last time the Titans played the Jets, to East Rutherford than it did from Times Square to, like, Greenwich Village or something like that. Like, something within Manhattan. Downtown Dallas, also not cool. Like, there are pockets of Dallas that are cool, but they're not centrally located. So if you're going into town for a weekend, Dallas would not be on, at least for me, right? Because I'm only staying one night. Now, if you're doing like a 3-day trip and a Titans game is a part of it, then yeah, I'm sure you could find plenty of things to do for an extended weekend, a long weekend in Dallas. For me, though, it's New York every time. I love New York City. Especially if it's early enough in the football season where it's not like just brutal northeastern cold. I love New York. We used to live, it's like a 30-minute Amtrak ride. Amtrak is the transit system that brings people in from all the other places that you live other than Manhattan to Manhattan. When my mom was still working for the telecommunications firm based out of Whippany, New Jersey. We lived in Madison, New Jersey, and the Amtrak into the city and then hanging out in the city, staying the weekend in the city. I don't know. I miss New York City probably. Chicago's probably my favorite big American city. I like it more than Los Angeles. I like visiting California just because California's, you can go to Santa Monica and not be in L.A.
How do you feel about Detroit? I've never been.
I liked Detroit. I stayed at the MGM there when the Titans played the Lions there. What was that, 24? That was my first time it wasn't my first time in Michigan, but in Detroit downtown. The MGM was beautiful where I stayed. And then I went to Greektown. Lucas told me to go to Greektown because he and Megan, I guess, occasionally meet up in Detroit, halfway between Toledo and Nashville. So I went to Greektown, had a great time. I think the Pistons had a game or something like that. Either way. And that stadium, the inside of that stadium, badass. The Lions Stadium is sick. So yeah, I'd probably say for me, it's between Baltimore, because it's always a great atmosphere, and I like the city. City's underrated, or New York. Even though it's East Rutherford, New Jersey, I will be staying in New York.
If I had to pick a favorite away city, I love New Orleans.
Oh.
New Orleans just hits in the right spot, man.
Well,
in the right intersection.
You are one of these creatures on Bourbon Street.
Yes, the drunkenness, the food is just like to die for. Like this, and there's a lot of cool, like if you're into infrastructure and like the history of the city and want to go sightseeing and all that, New Orleans has got all of that in spades. I love that city.
Man, do I have a favorite away NFL city? It feels like a cop-out to say L.A. You know what? This was the first time I'd done San Francisco. I loved San Fran. And I know a lot of people have complaints about, drug use and homelessness and stuff like that. I know there are certain places where people are not super comfortable, like just walking around in broad daylight. But I really liked San Francisco, being out there for the first time this year. New Orleans is up there. Just geographically, it's great. I love the food. I love the people. I'm not a big Bourbon Street guy. I just don't like the smell. The smell of Bourbon Street is a lot for me.
Just horse poop and people pee. Like, it's just not fun. I can
horse
put it in
poop would
pie.
almost be welcome. I'm pretty sure it's more human fecal matter than it is animal excrement.
And on the way out, I know that people will...
You know what? Seattle. Seattle's awesome.
Really?
I got lucky. Titans' last at Seattle game they did was 2021. Weather was perfect. No rain all weekend long. Had an incredible location for the hotel right at Pike Place Market, which is the market where they do the fish toss and all that, right on the bay there. Seattle is sick.
See, if I was picking a place just off game environment and the city's environment around the game, I know a lot of people are going to say it's in the middle of nowhere, but I love Green Bay. I got to go to a Packers-Bears game my freshman year in college, and it was elite. Brett Favre's Steakhouse. I think I was 19. No one carded me. My first time having what's the cereal? Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You ever had a Cinnamon Toast Crunch shot?
No.
Me neither.
Sounds
Since
delightful.
then, it was incredible. Everything's right there. I think we rented a house and stayed in the shadow of Lambeau. Just super sick. I love Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay, the only thing that was a pain in the ass about Green Bay was logistics.
And getting there.
It's just that's the only place. It was going to cost the station like $2,500 for me to fly direct into Green Bay.
Here's a hang glider. Figure it out.
Somebody is submitting Miami, but they don't play in Miami. They play halfway between Fort Lauderdale and South Beach. It's the worst part of being in Miami is Miami Gardens. I hate getting to the Dolphin Stadium.
Yeah, you want to talk about logistics. That place is a nightmare.
Brother, after the national championship, it was a house of horrors. Just getting in and out of Hard Rock Stadium. Because again, I stayed on South Beach. You were nowhere near South Beach. So no, Miami, as an NFL, like going to South Beach, Miami is one of my favorite places in the world. I will probably go there for the bye week every year for the rest of my life because I love Miami.
Well, let me know when you're going. We'll go to Live. I know a guy. Manager of it. His name's Elvis. I can hook us up.
Okay. As long as you stay at a different hotel.
Yeah, you see now when my cloud is a little necessary.
I still venture a guess to say that I would probably have more pull.
I'd venture to guess that's probably correct.
Well, last call for phone calls if you got them. 615-737-1045 is the number. We'll update some polls. Get out of here for the week coming up next. Did we just do a 25-minute segment on where we'd like to travel?
Yeah, something like that.
Hell yeah. Money well spent on this radio show. Last call for phone calls. We'll update the polls. We'll get out of here for the day. Let's go to Steve in Nashville next.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Doing good.
I just wanted to give a call. I'm actually from Jersey. I just moved to Nashville in January, so I just wanted to call to talk up North Jersey a little bit. If you're going up to New York for the game, you got to check out all the spots in North Jersey, like Ridgewood, Hoboken, Morristown. Those are my 3 favorites.
Thank you for the call. I lived outside of Morristown. I'm aware of Chatham, Morristown, Madison is where we lived when I lived in New Jersey. The only place in New Jersey that I would recommend to anybody is Cape May. Cape May is the list. Cape May is my Sedona.
Okay.
When I inevitably go down in flames.
You can get caught with me on a romantic getaway.
I will never be caught in the same hotel as you.
I don't think that's true. I think there's going to be one time. I can't wait till we have to share one and you're sleeping and I just get to nuzzle up.
Share a hotel room?
Share a hotel bed.
There is no circumstance in which I am sharing a hotel room with you.
Hoboken. I once went on a trip to the Macy's Day Parade with my girlfriend in high school and her family, and they were this is the most loser thing I've ever been associated with. They were such big fans of Cake Boss, which is stationed in Hoboken. It's like a show. I don't know. They make kind of crazy cakes.
I'm familiar.
I waited in line for an hour and a half to get in this terrible bakery that her and her mom were just infatuated with. By the way, Cake Boss wasn't even there. Cake Boss wasn't even there. We saw Kanye West perform on the Macy's Day Parade, and their whole favorite part, we went and saw Elf on Broadway. The whole part, their favorite part of the whole trip, Cake Boss in Hoboken. Get out of here. God, I miss her.
So, yeah, I'm going to, not going to stay in New Jersey, but Morristown's fine. There's nothing great in Morristown, I would say. Bob is in West Nashville.
Good afternoon, guys.
How are you?
What up, Bob?
I'm willing to answer any Seinfeld questions you got, Buck, but first I want to ask you a question about Evansville. Are you old enough to remember the gorilla statue outside the zoo?
Yes.
Do you remember the pole that stuck right up its
Gluteus
maximus, for a better way to put it?
Stop it.
Famously.
I just thought that would make Robert laugh because they changed it to Santa Claus in the summer and the pole went in the same place.
Yes.
Santa's got a pole up his butt too?
Yeah, it's a prostate exam for the gorilla and Santa Claus at the Evansville Botanical Zoo or Botanical Gardens and Zoo. I remember somebody having to explain that to me as a small child.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah. The visual
is so stinking cool.
The visual is something. They used to have, listen to me, okay? They used to have a lake with like a pirate boat in it at this zoo, okay? And they would just have monkeys on this boat in the middle of the lake.
Shut up.
It was a monkey enclosure on the lake. But then, of course, the monkeys figured out how to swim, turned into a whole situation. Now I think there's a number of wild monkeys running around southern Indiana.
Where is this? It's no longer, it's defunct?
No, the exhibit is defunct. I think the zoo is still there as far as I know. I haven't been to the Evansville Zoo in probably 20 years.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
That sounds right up my alley.
Sounds like the last place I would want to spend any extended amount of time. Polls, please. Yeah. Don't have time for this one. It's so long.
Oh, wow, we really don't. The polls brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted dealer. What was the better show? Curb Your Enthusiasm or Seinfeld? 67.9% of the audience went with Seinfeld. 32 agree with me and say Curb.
I could only say Curb Your Enthusiasm because I've never actually seen Seinfeld. I know Seinfeld. I know the cast. I know that it's the girl from Veep and Kramer and all these different things. What's the bald guy's name?
George.
Jason Alexander.
Yes, from Shallow Hal.
Pretty Women.
Oh, okay. Either one.
Oh, Shallow Hal, such a good movie.
Jack Black's
Good movie.
break into
Gwyneth
cinema.
Paltrow, right?
Yes. Really fun movie. Put either one of those in the background, Seinfeld or Shallow Hal this weekend. Should the Steelers feel embarrassed about how they've handled the Aaron Rodgers situation? Audiences split. 51% say yes, 49% say no.
I just think it's a bad look for a franchise that's supposed to be above nonsense, and this Aaron Rodgers thing is nonsense.
Do you agree or disagree with Paul Feinbaum that the Vols football program is headed in the wrong direction? Still split, but a larger total. Agree is 58%. Disagree, 52%.
Interesting that the majority feels that Paul Feinbaum is correct in that situation, that the Vols are trending in the wrong direction under Josh Heupel. That the show? Those the polls?
Hope so.
Very good. That's all we've got. We couldn't do it any better. God knows we probably could do worse. See you Monday.
This is a different court, Blair. Same result, Slay. Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball. Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.